जग में सबसे न्यारा।
जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ।
भारतीय संस्कृति का वैभव जग में सबसे न्यारा। ज्ञान और विज्ञान यहीं से सबने पाया सारा, सबने पाया सारा। कुछ भूलों से हारा फिर से जीते देश हमारा। गीता परिवार हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा।
जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ।
त्यागशील सेवा व्रतधारी युवा जगे पुरुषार्थी।
जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ।
त्यागशील सेवा व्रतधारी युवा जगे पुरुषार्थी। वैज्ञानिकता विनय सभ्यता स्वभाव हो निस्वार्थी, स्वभाव हो निस्वार्थी। देशभक्ति में तेजस्वी हो फिर समाज यह सारा। गीता परिवार हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा।
जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ।
गोविंद शिवाजी बुद्ध गगन के तारे।
जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ।
महावीर गोविंद शिवाजी बुद्ध गगन के तारे। परंपरा की पुण्य चेतना उर में हम सब धारे, उर में हम सब धारे। बाल हृदय में उसे जगाकर जगे देश यह सारा। गीता परिवार हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा।
जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ।
मधुरं वदनं मधुरं नयनं मधुरं हसितं मधुरं हृदयं मधुरं गमनं मधुरम्।
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्।
वचनं मधुरं चरितं मधुरं वसनं मधुरं वलितं मधुरं चलितं मधुरं भ्रमितं मधुरम्।
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्।
पाणिर्मधुरः पादौ मधुरौ नृत्यं मधुरं सख्यं मधुरम्
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्
गीतं मधुरं पीतं मधुरं भुक्तं मधुरं सुप्तं मधुरं रूपं मधुरं तिलकं मधुरम्
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्
तरणं मधुरं तरणं मधुरं हरणं मधुरं स्मरणं मधुरं वमितं मधुरं शमितं मधुरम्
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्
कुञ्जा मधुरा माला मधुरा यमुना मधुरा वीची मधुरा सलिलं मधुरं कमलं मधुरम्
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्
गोपी मधुरा लीला मधुरा युक्तं मधुरं मुक्तं मधुरं दृष्टं मधुरं शिष्टं मधुरम्
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्
गोपा मधुरा गावो मधुरा यष्टिर्मधुरा सृष्टिर्मधुरा दलितं मधुरं फलितं मधुरम्
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्
सच्चिदानन्दम् वासुदेवम् व्रजप्रियम् धर्मसंस्थापकम् वीरम् कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम् ईश्वर भक्त भक्ति भाव से बहती संस्कारों की धारा, भारत माँ की सेवा में गीता परिवार हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा। ईश्वर भक्ति भाव से बहती संस्कारों की धारा, भारत माँ की सेवा में गीता परिवार हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा।
जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ।
भारतीय संस्कृति का वैभव जग में सबसे न्यारा,
जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ।
भारतीय संस्कृति का वैभव जग में सबसे न्यारा, ज्ञान और विज्ञान यहीं से सबने पाया सारा, सबने पाया सारा। कुछ भूलों से हारा फिर से जीते देश हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा।
जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ।
त्यागशील सेवा व्रतधारी युवा जगे पुरुषार्थी,
जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ।
त्यागशील सेवा व्रतधारी युवा जगे पुरुषार्थी, वैज्ञानिकता विनय सभ्यता स्वभाव हो निस्वार्थी, स्वभाव हो निस्वार्थी। देशभक्ति में तेजस्वी हो फिर समाज यह सारा, गीता परिवार हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा।
जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ।
गोविंद शिवाजी बुद्ध गगन के तारे,
जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ।
महावीर गोविंद शिवाजी बुद्ध गगन के तारे, परंपरा की पुण्य चेतना उर में हम सब धारे, उर में हम सब धारे। बाल हृदय में उसे जगाकर जगे देश यह सारा, गीता परिवार हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा।
जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ।
समता ममता से सबको गले लगाओ, सबको गले लगाओ। चलो विवेकानंद मार्ग पर शुभ संदेश हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा। ईश्वर भक्ति भाव से बहती संस्कारों की धारा, भारत माँ की सेवा में गीता परिवार हमारा, 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 गीता परिवार हमारा।
सद्गुणों की साधना में ध्येय ज्योति नित जले, सद्गुणों की साधना में ध्येय ज्योति नित जले। संग्राममय जीवन धरा पर विजय रथ ले हम चले, सद्गुणों की साधना में ध्येय ज्योति नित जले। हो समर्पण लखन जैसा, राम जैसा त्याग हो, भीष्म सा हो नियम पालन, शौर्य में अभिमन्यु हो। आपदाओं को कुचल कर वीर बालक हम चले, सद्गुणों की साधना में ध्येय ज्योति नित जले। बुद्ध जैसे कारुणिक हो, धीर हम महावीर से, ध्रुव जैसे निश्चयी सत्याग्रही प्रहलाद से। दुर्दम्य सारे संकटों में अग्नि पथ पर भी खिले, सद्गुणों की साधना में ध्येय ज्योति नित जले। हनुमान से सेवाव्रती, जिज्ञासु हो नचिकेत से, कर्मयोगी कृष्ण जैसे वीर हो हम पार्थ से। बलिदान गोविंद सिंह सहो, साथ सारा ही चले, सद्गुणों की साधना में ध्येय ज्योति नित जले। देशभक्ति हो शिवासम, प्रेम हो गौरांग सा, स्वाभिमान प्रताप सा हो, तेज झांसी वाली सा। जलते शहीदों की चिता से हृदय में अंगार ले, सद्गुणों की साधना में ध्येय ज्योति नित जले। संग्राममय जीवन धरा पर विजय रथ ले हम चले, सद्गुणों की साधना में ध्येय ज्योति नित जले, ध्येय ज्योति नित जले, ध्येय ज्योति नित जले।
श्री गुरु चरण सरोज रज, निज मनु मुकुरु सुधारि, बरनउ रघुबर बिमल जसु, जोदायक फलचारी। बुद्धिहीन तनु जानिके सुमिरौ पवन कुमार। बल बुद्धि विद्या देहु मोहि हरहु कलेश विकार। जय हनुमान ज्ञान गुण सागर। जय कपीसति लोक उजागर। राम दूत अतुलित बल धामा। अंजनी पुत्र पवन सुत नामा। महावीर विक्रम बजरंगी। कुमति निवार सुमति के संगी। कंचन बरन बिराज सुबेसा। कानन कुंडल कुंचित केसा। हाथ वज्र और ध्वजा बिराजे। कांधे मूंज जनेऊ साजे। शंकर सुवन केसरी नंदन। तेज प्रताप महाजगबंदन। विद्यावान गुणी अति चातुर। राम काज करिबे को आतुर। प्रभु चरित्र सुनिबे को रसिया। राम लखन सीता मन बसिया। सूक्ष्म रूप धरि सियहि दिखावा। बिकट रूप धरि लंक जरावा। भीम रूप धरि असुर सहारे। रामचंद्र के काज सवारे। लाय सजीवन लखन जियाए। श्री रघुवीर हर्षि उर लाए। रघुपति कीन्ही बहुत बड़ाई। तुम मम प्रिय भरत ही सम भाई। सहस बदन तुमरो जस गावै। अस कहि श्रीपति कंठ लगावै। सनकादिक ब्रह्मादि मुनीसा। नारद सारद सहित अहिसा। जम कुबेर दिगपाल जहाते। कवि कोविद कहि सके कहाते। तुम उपकार सुग्रीवहि कीन्हा। राम मिलाय राजपद दीन्हा। तुम्हरो मंत्र विभीषण माना। लंकेश्वर भय सब जग जाना। जुग सहस्र जो जन पर भानु। लील्योताहि मधुर फल जानू। प्रभु मुद्रिका मेलि मुख माहि। जलधि लांघि गए अचरज नाहि। दुर्गम काज जगत के जेते। सुगम अनुग्रह तुमरे तेते। राम दुआरे तुम रखवारे। होत न आज्ञा बिनु पैसारे। सब सुख लहै तुम्हारी सरना। तुम रक्षक काहू को डरना। आपन तेज सम्हारो आपै। तीनों लोक हाकते कापै। भूत पिशाच निकट नहीं आवै। महावीर जब नाम सुनावै। नासै रोग हरै सब पीरा। जपत निरंतर हनुमत बीरा। संकट ते हनुमान छुड़ावै। मन क्रम बचन ध्यान जो लावै। सब पर राम तपस्वी राजा। तिनके काज सकल तुम साजा। और मनोरथ जो कोई लावै। सोई अमित जीवन फल पावै। चारों जुग परताप तुम्हारा है। प्रसिद्ध जगत उजियारा। साधु संत के तुम रखवारे। असुर निकंदन राम दुलारे। अष्ट सिद्धि नौ निधि के दाता। असबर दीन जानकी माता। राम रसायन तुम्हरे पासा। सदा रहो रघुपति के दासा। तुम्हरे भजन राम को पावै। जन्म जन्म के दुख बिसरावै। अंत काल रघुबर पुर जाई। जहाँ जन्म हरि भक्त कहाई। और देवता चित्तन धरई। हनुमत से सर्व सुख करई। संकट कटई मिटई सब पीरा। जो सुमिरै हनुमत बलबीरा। जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई। कृपा करहु गुरुदेव की नाई। जो सत बार पाठ कर कोई। छूटहि बंदी महासुख होई। जो यह पढ़े हनुमान चालीसा। होय सिद्धि साखी गौरीसा। तुलसीदास सदा हरि चेरा। की जय नाथ हृदय महडेरा। पवन तनय संकट हरन। मंगल मूर्ति रूप। राम लखन सीता सहित। हृदय बसहु सुरभूप। सियावर रामचंद्र की जय। पवन सुत हनुमान की जय।
संस्थापकं वीरम् कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम् ईश्वर भक्ति भाव से बहती संस्कारों की धारा भारत माँ की सेवा में गीता परिवार हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा।
Jai Shri Krishna. I am Jharna Makhija, your humble host who's feeling truly honored to represent Geeta Pariwar, a moment dedicated to spreading the eternal message of Śrīmad-Bhagavadgītā for this virtual platform of Zoom, and it enables us to become a spiritual family together learning to live Gita Ji. Before we begin our session, I would like to bow down with utmost humility and reverence to Swami Shri Param Pujya Acharya Govindadeva Maharaj Giriji, whose subtle presence is always guiding and blessing us. Also, we would like to share some happenings about the Zoom session. Like if there is no sound, please plug in your headphones or increase the volume of your phone or computer. If the chat box is blinking continuously, tap the bell icon at the top right corner to mute the notifications. If the voice is breaking, check your internet connection. If the screen is not visible, then start video in the Zoom. And if it is blurry, it might be due to slow internet. Zoom keeps on disconnecting, then you need to watch this session via the YouTube. And if it suddenly closes, then please rejoin using the meeting link. We shall now begin this divine session with a prayer and let Krishna consciousness awaken in our life as clarity of thought. May we traverse the path of truth like the flute-like surrender and empty of ego. For the prayer, I shall like to invite Geeta Sharma Didi, who is from Navi Mumbai. She has joined Geeta Pariwar in November 2023, and Didi is giving seva as co-trainer, trainer mentor, technical star, TTG mentor, trainer in calling department, adding and messaging department. Wow, Didi, you are an inspiration, giving really versatile, a model. We must really look upon you. Kindly, I would request you to do the prayer.
Jai Shri Krishna Didi, thank you so much for the introduction. Vasudevasutam devam Kamsachanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishna Vande Jagadgurum Shri Krishna Vande Jagadgurum. Jai Shri Krishna.
Thank you, Geeta ji, for such a melodious prayer. Now we shall do the Deepa Prajwalan, ignite lightness in our lives to do away with the darkness and the negativity. Yes, this is possible with bhakti and faith. We need to understand that Krishna is an incarnation of wisdom, love, and dharma, and has provided us with this incredible manual, yes, of life, Śrīmad-Bhagavadgītā. For the Deepak Prajwalan, I would like to invite Learngeeta Sudha Devi ji, who is from Karimnagar, who has joined Geeta Pariwar in July 2023. She is a technical star GC, co-trainer of L1 and L2. Didi, kindly do the Deepak Prajwalan.
निषिद्धैरप्येभिर्लुलितमकरन्दो मधुकरैः करैरिन्दोरन्तश्छुरित इव सम्भिन्नमुकुलः विधत्तां सिद्धिन्नो नयनसुभगामस्य सदसः प्रकीर्णः पुष्पाणां हरिचरणयोरञ्जलिरयम् शरदिन्दुनिभां शुभ्राम् शुभ्रवस्त्रैरलङ्कृताम् कलहंसकृतावासाम् वरदां शारदां नुमः.
Beautiful Deepa Prajwalan. Didi, you offered butter to Kanhaji with so much affection. It just appeared that he might just grab from your hand immediately and put it in his mouth. A very important announcement for all the lovely participants of Geeta Pariwar. All the Geeta interpretation sessions, they all are invited to participate actively in Geeta Olympiad. This is an excellent opportunity to deepen learning and demonstrate understanding of Śrīmad-Bhagavadgītā. Meritorious participation will be duly acknowledged and rewarded. So your enthusiastic involvement will add to great value to this collective spiritual endeavor. So do join Learngeeta.com. Now we begin for our visitation session. It is such a matter of honor and privilege to welcome such a wonderful worshipper of Krishnaji, a torchbearer of spiritual knowledge, Vikas Vaidya Dadaji. Respected Dada is not only an interpreter of Śrīmad-Bhagavadgītā, but he has dedicated his life to share spiritual knowledge over the years. His teachings are beyond words. He is a living expression of Geetaji core values, bhakti, karma, and jnana. He is a mentor trainer for all the trainers. Dada chants Geetaji every day, and it has been his practice over the years. He is an esteemed speaker, a highly qualified scholar. His commitment is not only academic, but he is highly devotional and transformal. He has traveled across the globe and has a high command over many languages, which has allowed him to understand and interpret several sacred texts. Adding to all these achievements, he has been awarded the first prize at Sringeri from the hands of Shankaracharya-ji, a moment which reflects his scholarship and spiritual depth. I humbly and with great privilege welcome Vikas Dadaji to guide us through the sacred and profound teachings of the 8th chapter of Śrīmad-Bhagavadgītā. Respected Bhaiya.
वसुदेवसुदं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं जय श्री कृष्ण टू ऑल. पूज्य स्वामी जी के चरण कमलों में कोटि कोटि नमन. A warm welcome to all of you, Gita Sadhak. Today we are studying a new adhyay, Akshara Brahma Yoga, 8th adhyay Bhagavad Gita. Before we start reading this adhyay, let us discuss a few points related to this adhyay as to what we are going to learn and what this adhyay comprises of. So number of shlokas in this adhyay is only 28, not so many. There are 24 shlokas in Anushtup Chanda and 4 shlokas in Trishtup Chanda. Speakers of shlokas, Arjuna will speak 2 shlokas and Bhagavan Shri Krishna will speak 26 shlokas. Name of this adhyay is Akshara Brahma Yoga. If you remember, in the understand his para and apara prakriti, attain moksha, liberation. Please try to remember what was para and what was apara prakriti explained in 7th adhyay. And while concluding that adhyay, God has mentioned 6 terminologies. And he said that one who through his wisdom understands these all 6 rules of Paramatma, he becomes one with the God. When his life ends in this mortal world, he becomes one with the God. Obviously, Arjuna, with his sharp level of intellect, he was curious to know the secret of these 6 terminologies. Arjuna asked in the beginning of this adhyay, what is the meaning of Brahma? What is Adhyatma? What is Karma? What is Adhibhut? What is Adhidaiva? And what is Adhiyajna? The supreme, imperishable, immortal Paramatma is the Brahma. His nature, Swabhav, called Pratyagama or Shuddhatma is Adhyatma. The sacrifices made by beings while performing scripture prescribed duties, yajna, dana, tapa, etc., that sacrifice of something is called karma. So when you perform karma, you are sacrificing something and then the karma gets executed. For example, we are reading an interesting novel comfortably on our easy chair, and after some time we become a little thirsty. So what we do? We stand up. We sacrifice that relaxing chair, the pleasure of reading that wonderful novel, and get up from the chair. And then walk up to the kitchen, take one glass, pour water in it, drink it, and after finishing, we walk back to the chair to again enjoy that novel. The sacrifice of pleasure and the act of walking and allied activities is the karma. So predominantly, you sacrifice something to achieve something. That is karma. That sacrifice is karma. All perishable things in the universe are adhibhut. Having described what is Parabrahma and what is karma, now adhibhut. All perishable things in the universe are adhibhut. The creator Brahmadeva is Adidaiva. And the Paramatma in the bodies of all beings, who is in the form of Lord Vishnu, Sarvasya Chaham Risandavishto and Mama Imamshu Jiva Loke, the famous slokas from 15th Adhyay, who maintains the universe and gives the karma phalas, is the Adiyajna. One who understands these different roles of God and contemplate on them, not only understands and reads it, but contemplate on it, on every role of God, all these 6 different roles of God, on knowing his immeasurable reach as Sarvavyapi, all pervading. Even if he does at the final moments of his life, he attains Paramatma. Om is a symbolic representation of Parabrahma. Only Parabrahma is imperishable, Avinashi. Rest everything, right from amoeba to Brahmaloka, are all perishable. Knowing this, one who leaves this mortal world in Uttarayan, that is called the Prakash Marga, he attains moksha. One who follows the path of Dakshinayan, that is called path of darkness, he has to come back to the cycle of birth and death. This is what we are going to learn in this Adhyay. The knowledge imparted by Lord Shri Krishna in this Adhyay is transcendental and incomparable. One who grasps this knowledge and mends his ways of daily conduct, he transgresses the return reward of all. That means study of Vedas, Veda Dhyan, Yajna, Tapa, Dan. He transcends all that. And he attains the Parampad, the supreme destination. This Parampad is of that imperishable Akshara Parabrahma. That is why this Adhyay is called Akshara Brahma Yoga. We attain that Akshara Brahma through this Adhyay. So this Adhyay is Akshara Brahma Yoga. Now the beauty of this Adhyay is 17 out of 18 Adhyayas of Bhagavad Gita, they teach us how to live the life. How should be our daily conduct? So they teach us practically how to win over our vikar, how to conduct in our daily behavior. So how to live the life, Live, and then attain the God. This unique Adhyay, Akshar Brahma Yoga, 8th Adhyay, teaches us how to live the life, Leave, how to live the life and attain the God. So 17 Adhyayas of Bhagavad Gita, they teach us how to perform our daily activities, how to live the life and attain God. This Adhyay teaches us how to live the life. That means at the end of life, what should be our mental frame? What should be going on in our mind at that moment to attain the God? That is why this Adhyay is generally read when someone is terminally ill or is on the deathbed. See, even when a terminally person is counting his last moments, it is customary to sit near him and read this Adhyay loudly, irrespective of whether the person is conscious or unconscious. We think that person is unconscious, but the subconscious mind of the person is active till the end. He may not be able to express that he is hearing something, but his subconscious mind is registering all that. So ignore whether he is conscious or subconscious. Read this Adhyay loudly. This Adhyay is also read on the first 10 days of the departure of the soul and also on the annual day of that person. So in this Adhyay, what we are going to learn, we'll take a quick review of what we are going to learn, and then we can focus well when we start studying the shlokas of this adhyaya. First thing, the ultimate reality, Parabrahma, is eternal, imperishable, and beyond all change. Next, Adhyatma refers to inner self, Atma, and the spiritual essence within every individual. Then, Karma is the action that creates future existence, intentional actions, and shape the destiny and rebirth. That is Karma. The material world, that is Adhibhut, is perishable and it's constantly changing. Cosmic intelligence, Adhidaiva, governs the universe and its natural forces. Adhiyajna is the divine dwelling within the human body, witnessing and sustaining all actions. Remembrance at the time of death determines the soul's next state of existence. How you remember God, whether you remember or not, first thing. The final thought at the death is not accidental. It reflects one's lifelong habits and inner orientation. That is what we learn. Constant practice of remembering the divine prepares the mind for this last moment when we are saying goodbye to this world. One who remembers the Supreme Being at the death attains the liberation and does not return to this rebirth again. Next thing we learn is devotion combined with discipline. Bhakti supported by yoga and self-control is emphasized in this adhyaya. One more teaching is the mind should be withdrawn from all distractions and fixed steadily on the Supreme. The practice of Om as a sacred sound, it helps us focusing our mind on Parabrahma. Then different paths after death are mentioned in this adhyaya. One is the path of light that leads to liberation, another is the path of darkness that leads to rebirth. These paths symbolize knowledge versus ignorance. One is the path of knowledge, another is the path of ignorance. Not merely physical routes, they are the path of knowledge. The wise aspirants understands these paths and remains unconfused and steady. Among all spiritual practices, steady remembrance of God is declared the highest. This chapter, it connects philosophy with the practical reality of death, making spirituality as an urgent and relevant in our life. Liberation is achieved through knowledge, through devotion, through disciplined living and focused remembrance of the God. So if you ask one line summary of this adhyaya, 8th adhyaya, one line summary is constant remembrance of imperishable Supreme cultivated throughout the life leads to liberation at the time of death. With this brief introduction, we'll now start reading the adhyaya, the shlokas of this unique adhyaya, Akshar Brahma Yoga. But before we start the discussions, let me apologize beforehand. As during this 8th adhyaya discussions, I will be talking a lot about death. Nobody wants to discuss about death. But this adhyaya is talking about death. What can I do? Since this adhyaya is the subject of how to leave this world, how to die, the discussion on death is unavoidable. So I apologize for this. But it is an interesting discussion, not a depressing discussion, but a refreshing discussion, educating us as to how we should accept death with grace, so that we become one with the God. With this, we read the adhyaya now. Om Shri Paramatmane Namaha. Śrīmad-Bhagavadgītā Ada Ashtamo Adhyayah. Shri Arjuna Vacho Kintad Brahma Kim Adhyatmang Kim Karma Purushottama Adhibhutanja Kim Proktam Adhidaivam Kim Uchyate. First and second slokas are related. We'll first see what is the meaning of this first adhyaya, first shloka. Kim is what? Tat, that. Brahma, Parabrahma, the absolute reality. Kim is again what? Adhyatmam. Adhyatma, the inner self, the spirituality. Karma is, we know, karma is action. Karma, Purushottama, the supreme person, Purushottama. It is the God. Adhibhutam, pertaining to the physical beings. Cha means and. Proktam is said to be. Adhidaivam, pertaining to the divine forces. Uchyate is called. Second shloka reads, Adhyajnah katham kotra dehesmin madhusudana pranakale ch kathai jneo sinitatmavihi. Here the word meaning will be Adhyajna, the presiding divinity of sacrifice, Adhyajna. Katham means how. Ka means who. Atra means here. Dehe in the body. Asmin, this. Madhusudana, the slayer of demon Madhu, that means Lord Shri Krishna. Prayanakale, at the time of departure, at the time of death. Katham, how. Jneya means to be known. Asi, you are Niyatatmabi, by the self-controlled yogi. So both these slokas mean, in short, what is Brahma. Kin tad Brahmam ke Atma. So what is Brahma? What is Adhyatma? What is Karma? O best among men, that means Purushottama, what is said to be Adhibhut and what is called Adhidaiva. Who and how this Adhyajna is there in this body. And how can you be realized at the time of death by persons of steadfast mind, the men of wisdom. So how you should be remembered at the time of death, so that the human beings get united with you, they achieve you. So first 6 definitions have been asked, what does it mean? And at the 7th question is asked about how should we remember God at the time of death. All important things. As we already discussed, at the end of 7th Adhyay, Shri Krishna Bhagavan had introduced terms like Brahma, Adhibhut, Adhyatma, Adhidaiva and Adhyajna. Arjuna is curious, of course, to learn more about these terms. Consequently, he raises these 7 questions in these 2 slokas. 6 of these questions relate to the terms mentioned by Shri Krishna in the 7th Adhyay. The 7th question is about the time of death, which Shri Krishna had himself said in the 30th sloka of 7th Adhyay. Sadhivudadidaivam mam sadhiyajnai cha ye viduhu pranakale pichamante viduryukta chetasaha. So this was meaning those realize me in the Adhibhut, the field of matter, in Adhidaiva, Brahmadeva, Adhiyajna, the unmanifest divinity, and having a steadfast mind, they realize me at the time of death. This is the announcement he made in the 7th Adhyay. Now here Arjuna is specifically inquiring about the terminal stage of a yogi, a jnani. How a jnani should remember you at the time of death. The question pertains to the state of a jnani, the one with yukta chetasa, whose subconscious is in complete equilibrium and does not refer to ignorant beings. It is not talking of some Tom, Dick and Harry. It is talking of some jnani. What is the process? What actually happens when a man of wisdom, a jnani, is about to relinquish his body? This is the question from Arjuna. Death is indeed very mysterious. It is known only by the one who actually is going through that process of dying. People around a dying person can never ever know or understand what is happening to the one lying on the deathbed. We are watching the person dying, but we just cannot understand what is going through him, what he is going through. But has any person breathing his last ever been able to describe or narrate his experience of dying? For the one at the door of death, he himself is caught up in such a vortex of distress that he is not able to express what he is going through. An ordinary person with average intellect is fighting his own battle because no one wants to die. No one wants to die. Everyone is fiercely attached to their bodies. And mind you, it is not those who commit suicide that they are not attached to their bodies. They are also attached to their bodies. Rather, they choose to give up their bodies in anger or in frustration because they are unable to live their lives the way they really want to live. Unhappy, discontented, or frustrated with their present circumstances. They end their lives in the hope that their next birth will see the fulfillment of unfulfilled desires. Thus, even the one who commits suicide does not do so because he has any longing for death, but because he is not satisfied with his present situation. But remember, those who choose to spurn this divine gift of God, divine gift of life, can never be rewarded for the contempt they show towards this our utmost precious gift given by the Paramatma, by the magnanimous Lord. Such beings have to exist without physical body for a very, very long time. They don't get a body. God says, I gave you body and you yourself sacrificed that body. I didn't ask you. You committed suicide. You gave up your body. Now wait. You don't get body immediately. So they have to wait for a very, very long time. They keep wandering as ghosts, as spirits, and desperately yearn for birth in a gross body. And sometimes pleading with them to do something for their liberation. Some mantra chanting, some yajna, some austerity, anything at all which will free them from their dreadful existence as only spirits. They keep praying. Imagine how distressing it must be for someone who after death of his body has to abide as a spirit only. No body but only spirit. And watch his children, his family, squander away all his hard-earned money which he had hoarded with so much of attachment. How hard it must be to watch your children go astray but being unable to help them. You have to be a mute spectator. You just can't express also yourself. You have to suffer watching them. But suicide has become a common occurrence these days. People die natural death, okay, but people commit suicide. It has become a common thing these days. Many times young children find it difficult to bear the intense pressure from their parents on getting the academic excellence. Parents want their children to become doctors, engineers, or some professionals, or maybe Bollywood actor or cricketer earning a lot of money. Irrespective of whether their child has the aptitude for that field or not, they force their children to do that. We know the famous Kota city in Rajasthan, it has become a capital of students' suicide. There are a lot of coaching classes guaranteeing admission in IIM, IITs. But the students going there, they cannot bear that tension, that pressure. So many of them commit suicide. We see in newspaper every time. Every child is unique and has been endowed with certain special abilities. This is what parents and teachers ought to nurture and encourage. But what they do? They don't do that. They force their children. So what a tremendous tragedy that human beings do not realize the value of human life. They foolishly accord such importance to objects and possessions, forgetting that these are the means which cater to your needs, and nothing more than that. There is much more to life than amassing wealth and possessions. Is life only about owning a big house, or owning a big car, or holding a high salaried job? Is that your definition of being successful in life? But most people see themselves as failure if they don't achieve these goals. If I don't have a big house, I don't have a big car, I don't have a fat salary, then I'm not successful in life. That is what they feel. Attachment gives pain. Pain in life and inflicts pain after death also. Who makes you unhappy? We keep saying, my mother, my father, my child, my husband, my wife, my house, my car. You keep torturing yourself with this my and mine throughout your life. Moreover, if this is what you will obsess even when you are breathing your last antakale, is it any surprise that you will continue to suffer in your self-inflicted pain even after the death of your body? Okay, coming back to the shlokas now. At the end of the 7th chapter, as we discussed, Lord Shri Krishna states that those who know Brahma, Adhyatma, Karma, Adibhut, Adidaiva and Adiyajna and remember him at the time of death, they truly know him. Hearing these profound terms together, Arjuna realizes their depth and feels the need for clarity. Hence, the chapter 8 begins with Arjuna's sincere and systematic questions. Arjuna is not a confused person. He is not asking due to ignorance, but due to his spiritual maturity, he is asking these questions. His questions arise from a desire to understand reality more precisely, not vaguely, but precisely. This is an ideal student approach. Arjuna is asking 5 foundational questions that define Vedantic philosophy. First, what is Brahma? Brahma is the ultimate, unchanging, absolute reality. Arjuna wants to understand whether Brahma is an abstract principle or a realizable truth. Is it something can be realized or is it only an abstract truth? What is Adhyatma, he asks. Adhyatma refers to the spiritual essence within the individual, often interpreted as the self, Atma, or the inner consciousness. Arjuna seeks to understand how the infinite Parabrahma, Brahma, relates to this finite individual. What is karma? His next question is, what is karma? Karma here does not merely mean action, but action that produces results and binds the soul to the cycle of birth and death. Arjuna wants to, he wants some clarity on this, as to how action becomes bondage or the action can become liberation. Next question is, what is Adhibhut? Adhibhut refers to the perishable material world, the changing physical existence. Arjuna wants to know the nature of this transient reality. The next question is, what is Adhidaiva? Adhidaiva refers to the divine principle governing the natural forces of this universe, of this cosmos. The cosmic intelligence behind this universe is Adhidaiva. Arjuna is addressing Krishna Bhagavan in these two slokas as Purushottama, meaning supreme person, Purush Uttama. This shows Arjuna's faith that Shri Krishna alone can answer these questions fully, because he transcends both the material and the spiritual realms. The philosophical importance of these slokas set the intellectual and spiritual framework for this adhyaya. The whole adhyaya is devoted to this, which deals with the nature of reality, the process of death, the importance of remembrance at the time of final moment, the liberation, moksha. Arjuna's questions reflect humanity's eternal quest. Who am I? What is this world? What governs life? How should I act? So takeaways from these slokas, two slokas is, these slokas teach that true spiritual inquiry begins with right questions. Liberation is not blind belief, but clear understanding. Arjuna's humility and clarity make him a perfect seeker, reminding us that asking sincere questions is the first step towards wisdom. In Shlok 2, Arjuna continues his inquiry by asking two deeply practical and experiential questions. What is Adhiyajna, and how can you be known at the time of death by the disciplined soul? Niyosini Tatmami. By addressing Sri Krishna Bhagavan as Madhusudana, the slayer of demon Madhu, Arjuna symbolically asks Sri Krishna to destroy the subtle doubts troubling his intellect. Adhiyajna is explained. Adhiyajna refers to divine presence within the human body, especially as the inner witness and sustainer of all actions. While external sacrifices are performed in rituals, the true sacrifice happens within, where ego, desires, ignorance are offered into the fire of awareness. That is yajna. In the shlokas that will follow now, Shri Krishna Bhagavan will clarify that he himself is Adhiyajna. Shri Krishna Bhagavan himself is Adhiyajna, dwelling in the body as the inner controller of us. This shifts spirituality from external ritual to internal realization. When we know that Adhiyajna is sitting in us, then our focus changes from external spirituality to internal realization. The moment of death. Arjuna is asking about moment of death. Arjuna's second question is extremely significant. How can one remember you at the time of death? Death is a moment of extreme vulnerability. Physical pain, emotional attachment, and mental confusion, they dominate the death. Arjuna wonders how it is even possible to maintain divine awareness at such a time. When you know any time your breathing will stop, how will you remember divine at that moment? the question makes this chapter, Akshar Brahma Yoga, highly practical. Because everyone must face death. Everyone has to face death. And everyone has to see this last moment of life. So it's a teaching to us as to how should we remember Paramatma at the last moment of our life. But very few prepare for it, this kind of spirituality. We are fortunate enough that we are discussing as to how we will prepare ourselves at the time of death. Shri Krishna Bhagavan is going to tell us how we should do it. Shri Krishna Bhagavan later explains that remembrance at death is not accidental. It is a result of lifelong practice. The mind naturally goes to what it has been trained upon throughout the life. Continuing discussion with third sloka. Aksharam Brahma Paramam Swavo Datma Muchyate Bhutavavodbhavakaro Visarga Karma Sanjnitaha. Aksharam, imperishable. Brahma is Brahma. Paramam, supreme. Swabhav, intrinsic nature. Adhyatmam, the self, pure self. Uchyate is called. Bhuta, or Bhuta is all beings. Bhava, existence. Udbhava, origin. Kara is causing. Visarga, creating activity. Karma is action. Sanjnitaha is named. So the Lord is replying now to Arjuna's questions. Lord replies that which is indestructible, that supreme divinity is called Brahma. And owns self, Jivatma, also known as Adhyatma, has the same essence as that of Brahma. The reaction to the vibrational upsurges occurring in the body, sense, mind, and actions like yajna, dan, tapa that are performed in accordance with the scriptures is known as karma. So Shri Krishna Bhagavan says Brahma is that supreme entity which is indestructible and imperishable. Brahma is all pervading Chaitanya, ever conscious and bliss. The path of spirituality is called Adhyatma. And the science of the soul is also called Adhyatma. Reuniting our Jivatma with Brahma, which is Paramatma, Jivatma and Paramatma ka milan, that journey is Adhyatma. But here the word has been used as one's own self, Jivatma. Jivatma too is sentient Chaitanya like Parabrahma. Shri Krishna says, Swahavo Adhyatma Vichyate. Para Prakriti is God's nature. Prakritim Viddhi me Param, that we learned in 7th Adhyaya. Prakritim Viddhi me Param. My Para Prakriti you should understand, which upholds its Apara Prakriti. And this Para Prakriti is the nature, that is Swabhav. As both Prakriti and Swabhav have the same meaning, the embodied soul, which is Para Prakriti, has been mentioned as Adhyatma. The Lord has called this as his fragment. We learn in 15th Adhyaya, Mama Vimamsho Jivaloke. Answering Arjuna's next question, Lord says, Karma refers to all the actions that you perform as a reaction to the various upsurges or vibrations occurring in your body, in your senses, or in your mind. Behind the occurrence of any karma is a vibrational force, an upsurge that occurs in any of these three, body, mind, or senses. For example, the upsurge of hunger pang in the stomach propels a vibration in the mind. And as a consequence of this, you get up and make some or the other arrangement or other to procure, to prepare and eat the food, so that the sensation of hunger gets satisfied. Likewise, say a sensation of pain arises in a leg muscle. This then gets registered by the mind. Then you ask someone to give you the medicine. And this involves getting up, walking, speaking, which in turn is a reflection of movement occurring in your limbs, your tongue. Then this upsurge to help arises in the mind of the person who listens to your words. Thus he goes to the chemist, fetches the medicines for you. Now, the root cause of this entire chain of activities is that one muscle cramp which moved your brain, your tongue, and so on and so forth. But one has to sacrifice something to get the karma performed. It may be your time, it may be your energy, it may be your comfort, it may be your money, anything. Some sacrifice has to be done for karma to get performed. Thus, karma refers to all activities happening as a consequence of vibration, the upsurge arising in the body, sense, or mind. This is one definition of karma. The other refers to the activities done in accordance with what is stated in the scriptures. Charity, dan, yajna, serving sages, serving guru, respecting parents, respecting elders, they are also karma. The Lord's action of creation of the universe is the first karma from which the tradition of karmas continued. And what did the Lord sacrifice when he created the universe? His loneliness. He was one, he became all over. He sacrificed his loneliness. In Nirgun Nirakar form, he sacrificed. He became Sagun Sakar. So it is clear that karma is sacrificing something to attain something. Even God has to sacrifice something. Now, looking at our own life, we consider sacrificing our time, energy, and above all, the peace of mind to attain the material pleasure. That is karma. And we take pride in achieving that temporary pleasure, which in fact adds to the anxiety and disturbed mind and leads us to the path of bondage, ultimately resulting in getting entangled in the cycle of birth and death. After knowing what is karma and knowing this much of Bhagavad-Gītā, can we rethink and reverse the direction of our karma and sacrifice the material pleasures to attain that eternal, everlasting peace which will lead us on the path of liberation? So let us do some karma which will lead us on the path of liberation, not on material pleasures. Food for thought for all of us. Next shloka, fourth. Adhibhutang ksharo bhava purushasya daivatam adhyajno hamevatra dehe dehevratam vara. Adhibhutam, pertaining to the material beings. Kshara is perishable. Bhava, existence. Purusha, the cosmic person. Purusha. Adhidaivatam, the presiding deity. Adhyajna, the presiding sacrifice. Aham is I. Eva, eva means indeed. Atra, atra means here. Dehe, in the body. Deha bhratam, of embodied beings. Vara means best of all. So literally meaning of this is, the Lord is further clarifying, Adhibhut refers to all perishable objects in this material manifestation, which are the subject of creation and destruction. Whereas the Hiranyamayi Purush, that is Brahmadeva, is Adhideva. Brahmadeva is Adhideva. Arjuna, the essence of Vishnu, I, the essence of Vishnu, I am the Adhiyajna in this body. Dehe Asmin. That means our perishable body is Adhibhut and our imperishable soul is Adhyatma. Sri Krishna Bhagavan says, the entire material world, including you and me, entire material world is a manifestation of Pancha Mahabhuta, 5 elements: earth, water, fire, air and space. This material manifestation comes into existence, but it is subject to destruction also. For example, right now you see this scarf around my neck, this scarf around my neck. It is very much visible and perceptible to all of you. But in due course of time, it will wear out and eventually burn out in some pile of rubbish. And what will happen when it gets reduced to ashes? It will get mixed with the soil. Of course, in another form. It is just that we will call that scarf, we will not call it scarf anymore. We will call it soil. The formless never changes, but form keeps on changing. And that is what is changing is known as Adhibhut. Today our body is tangible and visible to all. But where was our body before our birth? It was not visible to us also. And how can, so if it is not visible to us, how could it be visible to others? It was not there at all. So where was this physical body before we got it? It was present in food, in water, in fire, in air, and in ether. Panchamabhuta. The food that the mother and father ate, the air that they breathed, the fire they used to cook the food. So essentially, their bodies were maintained by these 5 base elements, Panchamabhuta: earth, water, fire, air, and ether. And so are our bodies now. Today, this body has taken a gross form and is thus perceptible. But a time will come sooner or later for all of us when the pran will exit this body and the body will be burned into a heap of ash. This ash will either be scattered over the earth or immersed in the water. Either way, the body merges with those very elements which had originally formed. And this is what samsara is all about. Unceasing, continuous change. Taking this argument further, we may say that the crop swaying the field is you and me. So as the chapati that we eat is also we. So how can you say that you are but an individual who has nothing to do with anything or anyone else? In reality, we are connected to the crop of grains in the field, to the sun's heat and light, to the clouds that provide water, that means rains, to the farmers which grow the crops, the retailer who stocks the grains, and the grocer from whom we purchase the grain, and so on. So we are not related only to the food that we eat or to this body, but we are deeply related to all: the sun, the clouds, the earth, the water, everybody. Adhibhut encompasses all that is created and gets destroyed and changed into another form. Our body is Adhibhut. And as far as Adhiyajna is concerned, Lord says, I am the Adhiyajna. I am the Adhiyajna. So how can one know the Parabrahma, which is Adhiyajna? There is a process. A procedure to know and realize the Adhiyajna in our perishable body. One who goes through this process will get to know the Adhiyajna. Just by listening or reading loudly these words Brahma, Adhiyajna, we will not come to know the Adhiyajna. Words are just words. You cannot ignite a piece of paper by just writing fire on it. You write fire on a piece of paper, will it burn? Word is a word only. You cannot drench a paper by writing water on it. Likewise, you cannot know Brahma, the Adhiyajna, just by listening to the word and saying Brahma is imperishable, indestructible. Okay, you can read it, but does it make any sense to you? You need to follow a spiritual practice process in order to understand what it means when Shri Krishna Bhagavan says, I am Adhiyajna. You need to realize this, that Shri Krishna Bhagavan is Adhiyajna. Now, in order to understand Shri Krishna Bhagavan as Adhiyajna, the foundation of Yajna, we too have to perform Yajna. He is the foundation of Yajna, he is Adhiyajna. No? So we have to perform Yajna to understand that Adhiyajna. Now, the traditional ritual of a Yajna involves a sacrificial fire into which various oblation ahutis are offered and mantras are chanted. We have to perform this Yajna in our body, in our mind, and the prana with firm conviction. But unlike the traditional Yajna, this Yajna does require, it does not require gross material for performing oblation. It does not require samvidhan and all that. Instead, this metaphorical Yajna needs fuel of vairagya, dispassion, detachment. That is the fuel of this Yajna. And the fire of tempered, controlled senses, that is the fire for this Yajna. The senses are withdrawn from their sense organs, and this is the offering made in the sacrificial fire. That Yajna we have to perform to know that Adhiyajna in us. This Yajna is to perform by sitting still, either in Vajrasan or in Siddhasan, or if you can, then Padmasan. And thus seated, ignite the fire of tempered senses fueled by Vairagya. Once the fire ignited, pour in the offering of Pratyahara. Pratyahara means all senses are brought back home. They are fully withdrawn from their external sensory objects. Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha, withdraw all your senses from these sense objects. Next, the steel mind and prana will be the mantras needed in this yajna. Now, what does it mean to bridle the mind, steal the prana? Awakening of dormant energy and taking prana through pranayam to the Sushumna Nadi and then directing it upwards towards the crown chakra at the top of head. This is what stealing, harnessing prana means. Taking the prana to the crown chakra. So the steps followed in the process of knowing this Adhyajna are Asan, Padmasan, Sadhasan, whatever asan, Pratyahara, controlling senses, and Pranayam. This is the way to know the Adhyajna in us. And once the dormant energy is awakened and prana is established in the crown chakra, once the mind is stilled, then this smokeless, incandescent fire of Tattva Jnana, knowledge of Supreme Essence, the Absolute Truth, then it starts shining in all its magnificent glory within us. But after revealing this essence of Brahma, the fire too cools down. All that is left is pure Brahma. And this is Adhyajna. What is left is Adhyajna. So to recapitulate, Yajna performed with ingredients of dispassion, tempered senses, offering of senses withdrawn from sensory objects, steeled mind, and the steeled prana is the process of knowing Adhyajna situated in our body. Now contrast this with our present condition, wherein we even don't know how to correctly sit, how to subjugate our senses. We need to learn all this to know the Adhyajna in us. Small story. There was a renowned yogi in a village. He had many disciples. Once a fresher came to him and requested that I want to learn yoga from you. I have done some initial preparation and I know what yoga means. I need your help to perfect my understanding and my technique. The yogi said, okay, fine, I will teach you. I accept your request, but before that, you have to carry out a small task for me. The fresher replied, of course, I will complete any task you give me. The yogi handed him a small closed box to that man and said that you have to deliver this box to my friend yogi who is staying 4 kilometers away from this ashram. You have to go non-stop. This is urgent. Non-stop. The man said, okay, this is the task. Very simple, I can do it. Taking the box, he started walking. It was hot summer afternoon. And after completing half the distance, he was little tired. He thought of taking rest for some time. Nobody is watching me, so if I take rest for 5-10 minutes, who will come to know? So he sat down under the shadow of a dense tree. After sitting, he started thinking, what will be the content in this box? What does this box contain? Can I just open and see it? I will close it. Let me see what is there inside. I will close it and deliver it. Nobody will come to know. As soon as he opened the box, a small rat jumped out of the box and vanished in the bushes. He hurriedly closed the box and started walking again. Finally, he delivered that box to the friend of that yogi and then came back and he said to yogi, I have done the task. Now can you teach me the yoga? The yogi said, I know. You got tired on the way. Instead of going non-stop, you rested on your way. That means you cannot control your body. Then you got curious to know the contents of the box, and when the rat fled away, you delivered the empty box to my friend. You could not control your mind and your senses. Now you tell me, do you think with no control on body, with no restraint on mind and senses, do you think you are ready to take lessons of yoga from me? Are you fulfilling the pre-qualifications for this? It is not for everybody and anybody to start yoga without preparation and without completing the basic requirements. In the next few shlokas, Shri Bhagwan will elaborate this journey, this process of how to arrive at the point where you can get first-hand experience of Adhyajna within us. Next shloka. Antakale cha mami vasmaran muktva kalevaram yah prayati samadbhavam yati nastetra samshayah. We'll skip the word to word meaning of the slok because it will take a lot of time. Literal meaning of this slok is Sri Bhagavan says, one who at the time of breathing his last, Antakale, at the time of giving up his body, remembers me alone. He attains my essence, my very being, and there is no doubt about it. So what is Antakal? Question is, what is Antakal? It does not. It does mean the death of physical body, but along with it, it also means death are many types. There are many types of death. Daily death, death of ignorance, death of life stages. These are all deaths. Daily death means our sleep. Death of ignorance is the attainment of jnana. That is the death of ignorance. And the death of life stages means transiting from childhood to young age, to adulthood, to middle age, and to old age. So the earlier stage has died. We thus have many antakals in our life. The one remembers God at the time of all these antakals can attain the God. Not only that final antakal, but at the end of all these antakal. In other words, one has to remember God at all times of his life. Therefore, it is not as simple as remembering God at the end of life and attaining Him. जिंदगी भर कुछ भी करो, भगवान आखिर में जय श्री राम बोल दो और परमात्मा मिल गया, ऐसा नहीं होता है. Desire, lust, principles of karma based rebirth system, rule of purva samskar, etc. How can one cross those easily by just taking one name of God at the time of death? God has created a huge interplay of this universe. And coming to think of it, who will remember the Lord at the time of leaving this world? Is it easy to remember God at the time of saying goodbye to this world? He alone who has abided in his remembrance all his life will remember the Almighty at the moment of death. On the other hand, the one who all his life has remembered only the world, the money, the possession, the spouse, the business, the job, the children, the family, the pets, the enemies, he will suddenly change the gear and remember God. Not possible. Is it possible? It's not possible. It is not possible for such a dramatic change to happen. That somebody will suddenly give up all material and will remember God at the last moment. There was a rich Marwadi who used to be very clever player in the day trading of stock market. We know stock market. So the day trading people, what they do, they spot some shares and they watch the daily movement. If it goes up by few rupees, say 10 rupees or 5 rupees, they will sell huge amount of those. And when it comes down, they will buy it again. So this is their expertise lies in this. What is the resistance level and what is the support level? These are the levels. They buy at support level and sell at resistance level. And this difference, they create their profit out of it. So this gentleman, he knew this stock market very well. He knew the levels of all the few stocks and he minted money in that. He made a huge amount of money in his life through stock market. But his study took most of his time in the day. At the time of sitting, he will always think, good share, what is the level, all that. Okay, this man attained his age, 80-85, lying almost unconscious condition, almost half coma. All his 4 sons and doctors were surrounding his bed in the hospital. The doctor, seeing his condition, said, looks like the end may come any time, but let me check the measures. And he started checking his BP. While checking, he was murmuring 180, 185, 190. The half-conscious Marwadi suddenly woke up and he blurted, sell it off when it crosses 200. Sell it off when it crosses 200. See, after spending the whole life thinking only about the shares and share prices, he could remember only that at his last moment. He thought some discussion is going on about the stock price, 180, 85, 90. So 200 cross karega to bech do. Is it possible that people can remember anything else. More importantly, who knows when the final moment will arrive? किसी को पता है क्या? Do you know the year, the month, the day, the time of our death? Nobody knows. People go to astrologers, ask all sorts of questions, wanting to know when they will get married, when they will get beget children, when they will get job, and so on and so forth. But is anyone interested to know how much time is left for him on this earth? Because here your prana leaves your body, and there in that very instant it snaps all relations, all possessions, all the wealth. Everything ends for you instantaneously. In fact, more often than not, the dying person loses all consciousness in terminal agonal state himself. Besides, at the moment of death, as the moment of death nears, unconsciousness deepens further. And it is this state of unconsciousness that the prana leaves the body. तो कैसा सोचेंगे भगवान के बारे में? Ajnani is purified from all over, inside, outside. A jnani person is purified. A jnani person is purified all over from inside and outside. Antarbahya, purity. Even his breathing is purified. Every cell of his body, his subconscious mind is filled with God's name. What comes with us after leaving the body is the name of God and the nishkam karma that we have done for the God. It comes in an attached file to our jiva. That file decides whether our further journey will be up to the God or not. So we should agree that with those who take the meaning of this sloka as simple, take my name at the end of life and then attend me. Is it that simple? Therefore, fully understanding the concept of attainment of God, we need to engage ourselves in our spiritual sadhana practice throughout the life. As I said, everybody, every body cell and our subconscious mind should get filled with God's name, with our spiritual sadhana. Then there is some more requirement of taking, there is no more requirement. If we remember God throughout our life, then there is no more requirement of taking His name when we are breathing our last. It is coming automatically. It has become our habit. God will be readily welcoming us happily, whether we take His name at the end or not. Throughout the life we have taken, na? Let us do one more thing. We keep touring a lot of holiday places, holiday spots. But can we think and decide to visit one more place? Visit the dying, those in terminal stage of their lives. See them, observe their state, and see what happens when the dying person breathes his last. How many are conscious? How many are aware? Through which door their prana is exiting? Keep observing that. Shri Krishna Bhagavan says, if you remember me at the time of your death, undoubtedly you will attain me. But again, the $1,000,000 question is, do you know the time of death? Again, the same question. It is so common to hear of someone dropping dead suddenly at a party, in the office, or getting killed on the spot in an accident. Did such people have any inkling that they would die suddenly that very day? Only those who lead their lives with awareness get an indication of their impending death. They get a cue around 2 years before the D-Day, and this becomes clearer in the next year, more distinctly. It is said in our Adhyatmic literature that the one who dies contemplating upon wealth, he becomes a ghost after death. The one who dies remembering his children gets a pig's life. On the contrary, the one who breathes his last in divine remembrance, he attains the very supreme divinity. The lesson to us is that we should live our life consciously and also die consciously. This is the prayer we should make to the God every day. That God, when I leave this world, when I am breathing my last, please keep my consciousness awake. Then only we can remember. Next sloka. Yayam vapi smaran bhavanti yatyante kalevaram Tantamevaiti kaunteya sada tadbhava bhavitaha. Meaning is, O son of Kunti, Kaunteya, whatsoever object, idea or state being remembered while leaving the body, one will attain that very state which was being contemplated upon. This is the word meaning of this shloka. As we were discussing in the previous shlokas, our mythology states that one who dies contemplating upon wealth becomes a snake in his subsequent birth. The one who dies obsessing about his children becomes a pig, because a pig gives birth to multiple piglets in a go. The one who remembers his house and real estate at the time of death becomes a ghost. But we should not take these things literally, because it is a sarcastic commentary. Nobody knows for sure that these are the realities. There is no scientific logic behind all this. It is just a way of mocking people as to how they lead their lives in attachment, that even at the time of death, they remain entrenched in these attachments. The Lord is saying, whatsoever you remember, whosoever you obsess about or contemplate upon at the time of death, you will attain that very state of being. There was an old lady who had a lovely pet dog. She used to treat that dog as her son, and anyone calling it a dog would face insult from that lady. कुत्ता बोलता है मेरे वो मेरा बच्चा है, like that. When her end came, she was in constant worry as to what will happen to this dog after her death. Her son, who will feed him? Who will take him to the morning walk? Who will take him to the doctor? And so on. Now, such a lady who breathes last thinking about the dog, can she attain God? Spelling, the letters are same, D-O-G and G-O-D. But can she attain God by remembering dog? See, you will attain what you contemplate upon at the last moment. This is what Lord Krishna says. Shri Krishna says the choice is yours. If you want to remember dog, okay, get dog. If you want to remember God, get God. So God is offering himself at such a ridiculously, thought itself is ridiculous. At the price of dog, God is offering himself. So you keep on living the same old samskars which are influenced by the family heritage and upbringing. This is what happens. If you are throughout the life thinking about dog, then you will remember dog only at the time of. It is common for a young child to be introduced to alcohol in a family where the people drink liquor openly. In a household where the father smokes, it is not unusual to see the children also taking smoking at a very young age, as that is the environment and upbringing they are exposed to. It is not that Jiva cannot change. He can. The possibility is certainly there, but it is indeed very difficult to do so. Try changing one thing in your life. Is it easy? It is not about changing some inconsequential thing like giving up certain food or fruit or clothing or some footwear. I'm talking of those insignificant things. The change has to be deeper and significant. For example, can you change your animosity towards a person you hate the most? Change that sentiment to love? Can that change happen? Or becoming detached from a person you are attached to the most? Only a handful manage to change their attitude, their habits and their beliefs. So create your own identity. You have to live your life consciously, with awareness. For only then will you be able to bring about transformation in your life. Otherwise, जो चल रहा है वैसे ही चलेगा. Next sloka is very important. तस्मात् सर्वेषु कालेषु मामनुस्मृत्य च मयि अर्पितमनो बुद्धिर्मामे वैश्यस्य संशयम्. Here we should discuss word to word meaning. Tasmat, therefore, sarveshu, in all, kaleshu, times, mam, me, anusmara, remember, yudhya, fight. Here yudhya means kartavya karma, yudhya, fight. Mai, in me, arpita, offered, mana is mind, buddhi, intellect, mama, me, eshyasi, you will attain, asamshayam, without doubt. So God is promising. Shri Bhagavan says, therefore, tasmat, always remember me, always, sarveshu kaleshu, and also do your duty of fighting the war, mamanusmara and yuddhecha. Remember me and do your kartavya karma fighting war also. With mind and intellect surrendered to me, you will definitely attain me, and of this there is no doubt or samshaya. This sloka is very important. The first line of sloka is the essence of teaching of Bhagavad Gita. Here Shri Krishna Bhagavan is preaching, performing both Bhakti Yoga and Karma Yoga in one single charan, Mahamanuswara Yuddhecha. Mahamanuswara, remembering the God, is Bhakti Yoga, and Yuddhecha, performing prescribed duty, is Karma Yoga. So Gita does not advise us to devote all our time and actions for God only. जिंदगी भर श्री राम जय राम करते रहो, ऐसा नहीं बोल रही गीता. Do your kartavya karma and remember God. Both have to happen. Performing our prescribed duties is equally important. Rather, we should perform our duties simultaneously while remembering God. And this has to be a continuous process. Sarveshu kaleshu. Remembering God while thinking, while eating, while working, while sleeping, while traveling, in happiness, in distress, all times. Sarveshu kaleshu. Keep remembering God at all times. Gita does not teach us to do only bhakti, but asks us to do our karma as well. And while continuing this, the God gets established in our karma. When while doing our karma, we are remembering God, the God gets established in our karma. Then our mind and intellect needs to be surrendered to Him. And for that, we have to give up the thought that mind and intellect is mine. We have to perform our duty, and while doing it, we have to keep God as a witness. Then God will show you the path further. We need to gradually go from first standard upwards, no? So journey is always gradual. God will show the next step to us. Now we should not raise difficult questions. What is the meaning of surrendering the mind and intellect to God? मन and बुद्धि समर्पित कर दो मतलब क्या है? Difficult question है ना? In the beginning itself, we should not raise such questions. What we understand, Mamanusmara and Yuddhecha. So focus on that only. Remember God and perform your prescribed duty. We should first start doing our prescribed duty. And while doing it, develop the habit of remembering God. We understand this much, Mamanusmara Yuddhecha. So at least follow this. They slowly keep increasing the time of God's Chintan, remembrance, and Nishkam karmas being done for the God. Finally, a stage should come when we should be able to keep remembering God at all times. God's name should be taken mentally only, not very loudly. No need to take it loudly. There should be a strong oscillation, andolan. मन में सा आंदोलन होना चाहिए भगवान के नाम का. Every breath should be with the name of God. Taking God's name is not a mechanical process. The feeling that God is in me for all the 24 hours and my every karma is getting performed by His grace, this bhav, this feeling should become our habit. This will take us to the level of ultimate, supreme, paramount love for the God in our mind. And then God's imprint, His presence, we can start seeing in our karma. Our karma become Daivi karma then. When we are walking in the dark, the torch in our hand can show us a path up to say next 15 or 20 feet. When we reach there, it will show further 20 feet. Similarly, when we start going towards God by taking His name and doing karma for Him, He will show us the path to be followed further. But our steps should be in the direction of God. When a child of say 1 or 2 years of age, he starts walking, he stumbles. And when he is about to fall down, his mother will come running and give him the support. Similarly, when we are on the path of spirituality, when we start walking towards the God, if we stumble on our way, the God will give us His helping hand. That confidence we should have in God. When we surrender our mind and intellect with this confidence, deep faith in God, we will attain Him, and God says that is without doubt. This Krishna's promise to us. Shri Krishna's message is clear. Keep your mind attached to me and do your worldly duties with your body. Mind to me, body is for the world. Finish. This message is for people of all walks of life. Doctors, engineers, lawyers, housewives, students, everyone else. In Arjuna's case, he is a warrior and his duty is to fight. So Paramatma says Yudhyacha. So he is being instructed to fulfill his duty while keeping his mind on God. Mamanusmara and Yudhyacha. Some people neglect their worldly duties under the excuse that they have taken to spirituality. हम अध्यात्म कर रहे हैं तो संसार काम नहीं कर सकते. Others excuse themselves from spiritual practices on the pretext of worldly engagement. संसारिक काम बहुत है, अध्यात्म वगैरह हमको नहीं जमता है. But when we practice such karma yoga as instructed by Shri Krishna in this shloka, Mamanusmaran Yudhyacha, worldly works will not suffer because the body is actively engaged in them. But since the mind is attached to the God, these actions will not bind one in the law of karma. Only those activities result in karmic reactions which are performed with attachment. When you are attached to the God, will you get any bondage? When that attachment does not exist, even the worldly law, the laws of this samsara also do not hold one culprit and offender. When you have no attachment. For example, let us say one killed another person and he is brought to the court. The judge asks that person, did you kill this man? The man replies, yes, your honor. There is no need for any witness. I confess that he is killed because of me. Then he should be punished, judge says. He says, no, honor, you cannot punish me. Judge is surprised. Why? I had no intention to kill. I was driving my car carefully on the proper side of the road within speed limits, with my eyes focused ahead. My brakes, steering, everything was perfect. That man suddenly ran in front of my car. What could I do? If the lawyer of that man can establish that the intent to kill was not there, the judge will let him off even without slightest punishment. From this example, we see that even in the world, we are not culpable for actions performed without attachment. The same principle for the law of karma holds good. That is why Arjuna did his duty on the battlefield, and by the end of war, Shri Krishna noted that Arjuna did not accrue any bad karmas because Mamanusmara and Yudhyacha. He would have been entangled in karma if he had been fighting the battle with attachment to the worldly gain or fame. However, his mind was attached to Shri Krishna. And so, what he was doing was Mamanusmara Yudhyacha. No attachment, performing the duty. Performing duty in the world without selfish attachment. Even if you perform 1 lakh duties without attachment, the karma cannot bind you. Because if you multiply 1 lakh by 0, no attachment, what will the result? Zero bondage. This shloka, if followed our daily life, it will lead us to moksha. Sant Kabir says, Sumiran ki sudhi yon karo, jo gagar panihara, bolat dolat surati, kahe kabir bichara. Remember God just as the village woman remembers the water pot on her head. She speaks on the way to others, keeps laughing, talking on her path, but her mind keeps holding on that spot on her head. So remember God like that. Do every activity that you're doing, but remember the God. Okay, next shloka, 8th. Adhyasa yoga yuktena chetasa ananyagamina paramam purusham divyam yati parthanuchintayan. With practice, Partha Arjuna, when you constantly engage the mind in remembering me, the supreme divine power, without deviating, you will certainly attain me. Now, this instruction to keep the mind always engaged in meditating upon God has been repeated in Bhagavad Gītā in many shlokas. In 8th Adhyaya, this Adhyaya we are reading, 4th shloka talks about it. In 10th Adhyaya, 10th shloka talks about it. In 12th Adhyaya Bhakti Yoga, the 8th shloka talks about it. But our mind is as restless as a monkey that is stung by a scorpion. That is the disturbed mind we have. Drunk and possessed by a demon. All at a time. We are all proud owners of this monkey, our mind. which gives a clue as to why it is so difficult to bring our mind under control. Stung by a scorpion, drunk, and possessed by a demon. Yet, to control it, we must, if we are to go beyond the conditioning of mind, we need to control it. If we want to attain expertise in a game, then we have to wholeheartedly practice the game. Suppose you want to become an expert chess player, we keep practicing football, then we will attain expertise in football and not in chess. Similarly, if our ultimate objective is to attain God, then we need practice upon spirituality, however difficult it may seem in the beginning. By practicing material pleasures, can you attain God? Can we expect practicing mundane worldly activities and attain God? The word abhyas means practice. The training and conditioning of the mind to meditate upon God, that is abhyas. Such practice is to be done not at fixed times of the day, at regular intervals, but continuously, along with all day activities of life. When the mind is attached to the God, it will get purified, even while performing worldly duties. It is important to remember that thoughts decide our future, not the actions we perform with our body. Our thoughts decide our future. It is the mind that is to be engaged in devotion, and it is the mind that is to be surrendered to the God. The success, the fame, the property we got is all due to God's grace. It is all His giving. This thought has to be there in our mind at all times. We should keep expressing our utmost gratitude for this. God should be like our near one and dear one for us. We should have intimate love for Him. If we remember God with fear instead of love, then that remembering will not be long lasting. भगवान को याद नहीं किया तो भगवान मुझे पनिश कर देगा, कुछ तो भी बुरा कर देगा मेरा. That remembrance will not be permanent. The contemplation done with love is always permanent and long lasting and ever increasing. And with that training of mind, when the absorption of consciousness in God is complete, one will receive the divine grace. By God's grace, one will attain liberation from material bondage and will receive unlimited divine bliss, divine knowledge, divine love of God. Such a soul, Shri Krishna Bhagavan says, will become God realized in this body itself. It doesn't have to die. And upon leaving the body, we'll go to the abode of God. A small anecdote to discuss this, to understand this shloka. Raghav was a highly successful software architect in his early 50s. He lived a disciplined life, early morning, regular exercise, a calm demeanor. Unlike many of his peers, he had a quiet habit. Every night before sleeping, he spent 10 minutes in silence remembrance of God. No rituals, no long prayers, just stillness and inner remembrance. So people often ask him, why do you do this every single day? You are already a calm, successful person. Raghav would smile and say, what the mind practices daily, it remembers naturally. Years passed. One evening, Raghav suffered a sudden cardiac arrest while alone at home. Paramedics arrived quickly, but his chances were slim. As they checked his phone to identify the emergency contacts, they noticed something unusual on his mobile phone. The last open screen on his phone was not an email, not a work document, not a news app. It was a simple note he had written years ago and kept pinned on his screen. The note read, remember the divine, everything else will follow. Later, when he regained consciousness briefly in the ICU, his lips were moving faintly, remembering God. A nurse leaned closer and heard him softly repeating the same divine name he had practiced every night for decades. He passed away peacefully that night. The connection to this shloka is the mind does not obey commands at the final moment. It follows habits performed through lifelong practice. Remembrance at death is not an accident. It is the result of abhyas, constant practice. Raghav did not force remembrance in his final moment. It arose naturally. It was his abhyas. Because his mind had been trained gently, consistently, and lovingly. So the teaching from this small anecdote, you cannot control the mind at death if you ignore it during the life. What you remember daily becomes what you remember finally. Spiritual practice is not for old age, it is for now. Now means now. One line moral of the story is, the mind remembers at death what it practiced during the life. If you are reading Gita throughout the life, guaranteedly you will remember Lord Shri Krishna at the final moment of life. You will not remember anything. Anything. This is very important from that point of view as to how we should prepare for our last moment of life. Next sloka. Kavim Purana Manushasita Ramanoraniyam Samanusmaredyah Sarvasya Data Ramachinta Rupam Aditya Varnan Tamasah Parastat. Kavim. Kavim means all-knowing. One who knows everything is a Kavi. Puranam. Puranam is ancient. Anushasitaram. The ruler, administrator. Ano. Ano means the atom. Aniyasam. Smaller. Anusmaret. That we saw. Should remember. Yah means who. Sarvasya. Of all. Dhataram. Sustainer. Achintya. Inconceivable. Achintya. जिसका चिंतन नहीं किया जा सकता, that is achintya. Rupam. Form. Aditya. The sun god. Varnam. Radiance. Tamasa. Darkness. And Parastat. Beyond. So God says, he who meditates upon the omniscient, primordial, the subtlest of subtle, yet the ruler, sustainer of all, whose form is inconceivable, achintya, who is self-effulgent like the sun, and who is beyond all darkness of ignorance, in effect, he meditates upon eternal truth, bliss. That is all-pervading Parabrahma, Supreme Parabrahma. So the one who meditates upon Supreme Parabrahma, Sri Krishna then lists the defining characteristics of the divinity that one meditates upon. Primordial, the ancient most, infinitesimally minuter than the atom, subtler than the subtlest, the substratum, the foundation supporting the existence of all this entire world, inconceivable, luminous like sun, and beyond all darkness. That is Parabrahma. Minuter than the subatomic particle, subtler than the subtlest, is the Brahma. Thus, it is beyond analysis that can be performed by physicists or by scientists. Brahma can never be discovered by analyzing this gross material world. The exploration has to be inner. The subtle can only be known by the subtle. Your gross eyes can perceive gross things. For example, the color, the shape of the flower, say a rose flower. Okay, eyes can make it. But the sentiments associated with it, which were evoked by the loved one presenting that rose flower to you, can the eyes perceive the emotions? Somebody has given you with love that red rose. Eyes can see the rose. Can it see the emotions attached to that rose? The one needs, the emotions are subtler than the gross matter. Thus one needs the subtler mind to perceive the subtle emotions. And the Brahma is subtler than the subtlest. So how can you know it through gross? You cannot know the sublime Brahma through your gross intellect. Thus you will have to sublimate. You will have to refine. You will have to purify your intellect. Shri Krishna Bhagavan says, he who meditates upon the self-effulgent Brahma, luminescent like the sun, he gets filled with the luminosity just like that sun, and all darkness gets eradicated. Our problem is that when we know a little bit about Adhyatma or about Bhagavad Gita or about Vishnu Sahasranam, we start feeling proud about our knowledge. जैसे हम सर्वज्ञानी हो गए and start rating others as inferior. उनको कुछ आता नहीं है, मेरे को तो गीता आती है. And we forget that by bolstering our ego like this, we are going away from Paramatma. God hates ahankar. We are not going close to him with this ahankar. We are going away from him. This habit of making a show off has to be given up totally if one wants to really advance on the path of spirituality and meditate upon Shri Krishna, as he has said in this shloka, and eradicate our pride, ahankar, our ego, our ignorance. Any sadhana done with ahankar will yield no result. A small story about it. What does true knowledge mean? Several people were sitting in a rowboat, boat that goes in the water, to cross the river Ganga. The boat moved slowly towards the opposite bank. A priest was also aboard the boat. He asked the boatman, "Have you studied geography?" The innocent boatman said, "I have no idea what geography is." The priest, trying to show off his superiority in knowledge, he said, "You don't know geography? You have drowned a quarter of your life in water." After some time, the priest asked another question. "Do you know history? When and where did the Maharani Lakshmibai fight her battles? And how did she fight? You know all that history?" When the boatman expressed his ignorance, the priest said in a very arrogant tone, "You don't even know that. Half of your life has drowned in the water." Then the priest asked the third questions in the field of scriptures and learnings. "Do you know Bhishma?" Boatman conversation from the Mahabharata. Bhishma and Boatman had conversation that is covered in Mahabharata. Do you know that? Or the dialogue between Boatman and Lord Shri Krishna, Lord Rama in Ramayana. Okay, what you know that dialogue? What could the poor boatman say? He silently said, "No, I don't know." The priest smiled and said, "3/4 of your life has gone underwater." The boatman kept on rowing his boat calmly. ठीक है. Then suddenly the flow in the Ganga started intensifying. The waves of the river started taking the form of a storm. The boatman warned everyone of the storm and asked the priest, "The boat can sink in the storm. Do you know how to swim?" The priest was completely terrified and he said in fear, "I don't know how to swim." Sensing the situation, the boatman said, "Then consider your whole life to have drowned in the water." In no time, the boat overturned and the priest started getting pulled by the flow of river. The boatman tried his best to rescue him without caring for his own life and finally saved the priest from drowning. Knowledge is not meant for debating, nor for humiliating. But sometimes some people forget this fact in their pride of knowledge and end up insulting others. The knowledge of the scriptures is meant for solving problems, not to cause violence by turning them into weapons. It is true, a tree is laden with fruits as its branches bend. Similarly, when the knowledge comes to a humble one, it is enhanced even further. Vidya vinayana shobhate. That is, the true wise person feels himself to be a dwarf before his infinite knowledgeable world. A knowledgeable person, he knows that he knows very little. The world has much, much more than what he knows. That is why he is free from arrogance of knowledge, ahankar. This is the beauty of knowledge. Knowledge or wisdom is adorned with modesty. I think we should stop here. We will take review of remaining shlokas in the next 2 sessions. Thank you so much for your patience. Jai Shri Krishna. Now the forum is open for you to raise your questions.
We extend our heartfelt gratitude to our esteemed speaker, respected Vikas Vaidya Dadaji, for the profound and lucid interpretation of the 8th chapter of Śrīmad-Bhagavadgītā. Dada, your insightful exposition and giving apt examples to understand the concept of Akshara Brahma Yoga brought so much clarity, depth, and spiritual resonance to the teachings, leaving us deeply enriched and inspired. Also, such an important message of how to tame the mind rightly so that the mind is in the right state when the soul departs the body is a concept explained by you so beautifully, Dada. If you permit, we shall go ahead with the question answer session.
Yes, Jarnaji, we can go ahead with the questions.
Ji Vijay Bhaiya. Vijay Kumar Bhaiya, who is this? 1 second. Sambhu Ratan Trivedi ji, Dr. Sambhu.
Jai Shri Krishna Didi. Jai Shri Krishna Bhaiya.
Jai Shri Krishna Dada.
Your explanation is so nice. I have nothing to tell about that. I don't have any language to express it. But my query is little one question. As you told karma,
Yes.
suppose I am a professional doctor. I am doing my practice and patient I am seeing. What is that? Is it karma or something else?
See, karma is of many types. The karma that you do for your daily livelihood is also
Yeah.
a karma, and the karma that you do for attaining God is also a karma.
So now
The
which karma we have to follow that for our
So,
this?
see, the daily karmas you cannot avoid because you cannot sustain your body or life without doing those karmas. You have to do a job or business to earn money. Otherwise, you cannot live. You cannot
Yeah.
provide shelter to your family or to yourself, food and shelter. So those karmas are karmas which one has to do. But while doing those karmas, one has to do it with a nishkam bhav. That means doing every
Yes.
karma as a akarma without creating bondage. The third adhyay tells us this very beautifully, that every karma that we do in this world should finally turn out to be a karma. A karma is the karma which does not put us under bondage. So whether you are doing a job, do it with sincerity, with honesty. Then that karma is
Also
not a bondage for you.
for
But
God's work, for the karma for God, what we
the
should do
karma
that?
for God that you do has to be done without any pride, without any ahankar, and without any expectations of return or reward. Even don't expect moksha, don't expect the heaven. When we worship God without any expectations, the God appreciates it much more. Whether we want something or not from God, God is very kind. He does shower His grace on us. But if, like beggars, we go and stand in front of God every day, holding our hands, Bhagwan mujhe ye de do, Bhagwan mujhe wo de do. God does not like beggars. He says, I know better than you what you want. Why you have to ask me? I know what you want. You do your job, I will do my job. But what we do, we want to teach God. We want to teach God that God, you have to do this. God says, who are you to teach me? I know my job. You do your job, I will do my job. So if we do our job with this feeling that I am only offering my seva to the God, rest I leave everything in the hands of God, then that becomes a nishkam karma. And that nishkam karma will definitely lead you to liberation, to salvation, to moksha. So whether you read Gita every day or you read Vishnu Sahasranam every day, read it with a pure mind that I am doing it only for self-satisfaction, for purification of my antakaran. No other expectation from me. For me, there is no other expectation. So then that
Thank you, Bhaiya.
nishkam
Thank
karma
you.
is something which the God likes.
Beautiful, beautiful explanation. Thank you, Bhaiya. Jai Shri Krishna.
Jai Shri Krishna.
Deepak Bhaiya.
Jai Shri Krishna Bhaiya.
Jai Shri Krishna.
Sir, while you explaining the fifth shloka, Antakale,
Yeah.
you mentioned the death is in many phases. As
Yes,
a,
yes.
a child, from graduating childhood to younger, younger to old, you have experienced Antakal.
Yes, 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 yes.
So, remembering God at that stage, every stage, is the
Yes.
only answer to remember in the last phase of your life. That's what you said.
Right. Right,
Sir,
right, right.
we have been graduated to the spirituality After finishing our karma in real life, we didn't have time when we were running with our day-to-day job. Even though we every day folded our hand in front of God, but we didn't have this much time to devote for spirituality.
Yes, yes, yes.
So you mean to say my entire life is gone waste? Only balanced life, if I am practicing now Gita, studying Gita, it in any case not going to help according to your own theory. Am I right in understanding so?
No, no, no. Sorry. I didn't mean to say that. If you have drawn that meaning, that I need to correct it. See, the only purpose of saying that is that whenever we are aware of the principles of Gita or principles of karma, then we should wake up. God has said at two places in Bhagavad Gita, in 9th Adhyaya as well as in 4th Adhyaya, Apijayadasi papebhya sarvebhya papakruttamaha sarvaijnana plaveneva vrijinam santarishyasi. This is in 4th Adhyaya. That even a person who has committed lots of sins, is the sinnest of all sinful people, when he gets this jnana, then he can cross over this samsara. Now, we have realized that we have made mistakes in past. God says, bygone is bygone. Forget. Everybody has a chance to start again. So what we have done in the past is not a matter of concern at all for the God. He says whatever has happened has happened. If you keep repenting on that, it's not going to yield any benefits for you. If you have woken up now, get woken up only. Remain woken up only and do your best from now onwards. You can cleanse your past karmas, past sins, full act with this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. If you read it every day, you do contemplation of these shlokas every day, and you modify, you change your daily conduct according to the message of Bhagwan. And as this Adhyaya has taught us, till the last moment of our life, if we keep immersed in this worshipping of God, remembering His name at all times, Tasmat Sarveshu Kaleshu, then at the end of journey, God will take us with Him. We'll attain God. So what has happened in the past has happened. We should always keep remembering the name of Valmiki. He was a Valya Koli. You are Mr. Deshpande, so you know Marathi very well. सो वाल्या कोळीचा वाल्मिकी होऊ शकतो तर आपण तर काय तेवढे पापी नाही ना. वाल्या कोळीने तर बरेच मर्डर केले होते, लोकांना लुटलं होतं. He had looted, murdered people. But even he could attain God. We are not as bad as that. We might have deceived somebody. Okay, we might have told some lies to people. But we have a chance to rectify ourselves. And if we rectify ourselves in a way that is explained in Bhagavad Gita, then apijyadasi papebhya sarvebhya pakritamaha. Whatever pap we have done, God says, okay, whatever is bygone is bygone, start afresh. Then you can cross over this world and attain God. This is a promise of God in Gita in 2-3 places. That a person who is papi of most papis, he also can attain God, provided he wakes up and he attains that. So this is the message of Gita in Bhagavad Gita. In 9th sloka, in 9th Adhyaya, there is a sloka. Apichet sudara acharo bhajate mamanenda bhak sadhureva samantavya samyak vyavasito hisaha. This is in 9th Adhyaya. Papiyo ka papi, apichet sudhi papi, but if you attain, if you worship God with this feeling of oneness with God, then you can attain God. See, human beings are bound to err. To err is human. Nobody is a born yogi. Nobody is a born yogi. With the experience in life, when we look around our life and we see people around us, then we start changing ourselves. But if we don't learn from the mistakes of others or from our own mistakes and mend our ways, then we have to blame ourselves. What is expecting that? You are intelligent guys. Why don't you change? You understand the logic. What is good, what is bad? I have given you the Vivek Buddhi, the discriminatory power I have given you. If you understand what is good and what is bad, why don't you do something good? That is the only expectation of Gita. Viveka Buddhi is an asset given by God to human beings. It is not with any other species. This discriminatory power, intellect, it is only with human beings. We need to make use of it. That is the expectation. God has given us a good training by this Vivek Buddhi to decide what is good and what is bad. Pravrittinja nivrittinja. What is to be done and what is to be retired from. किसमें प्रवृत्त होना है और किसमें निवृत्त होना है. This is what we need to decide and act accordingly. That is only expectation of Shri Krishna in Gita. If you follow that, then what has happened in the past is of no consequence.
Beautiful explanation. That
Very
also solves the queries that arise in others' minds also who are attending this session. Yes, Guru Bhaiya.
Jai Shri Krishna,
Jai
sir
Shri Krishna.
and
Jai
Didi.
Shri Krishna.
I have two questions post death, as my profession goes. So one is people donating their organs, like as I made my mother's eyes to donate to some eye hospital. And second thing is, during our first year, we used to dissect, do the autopsy studies, and then dissect the human body. And how those souls will be like, how do those, is it they are benefited with this, or it's just a materialistic thing?
Good question. Very good question. See, after reading Gita and understanding this much of Gita, we at least know one thing for sure, that we are not body that has died. We
Correct.
are the soul.
Yeah,
We are the soul. We are that Jivatma which has left that body.
correct.
Okay. So that body as it is was useless for that Jivatma. Now something which was useless for us, if it is very useful for somebody else, why not to use it? Why not to donate it? Is it of any use to Jivatma who has already left the body? The hands are intact, the eyes are intact, the ears are intact, the lips are intact, the tongue is intact, the heart is also sometimes okay, can be usable, kidneys are okay,
Yes.
brains is okay. Brain-dead people, their brain sometimes can be transplanted, heart can be transplanted, eyes can be planted. So whatever organs can be reused, and if you authorize people to use your organs, then it is a punya karma. It is a great punya that you are doing. It is not
That,
easy. That
yeah. There is a one in lifetime has to make that decision, right? For them
yeah. Once when
to
one
get
is
the
alive, he has
benefit.
to sign. He has to sign that undertaking that
Correct.
I authorize people to use my organs on my death.
Yeah,
And
that's a
immediately on the
policy,
death,
government policy. Yeah.
the relatives have the responsibility to inform the authorities that
Yes.
so and so fellow has died
Yeah,
who has
same thing
given
I
this
did. Yeah.
undertaking. So please come now. They will come running and they will
Yes, yes.
remove those organs which he has donated. So it's a great thought of charity. No charity can be bigger than that charity of organs.
Yeah,
Because if you
considering
give,
that, considering
if
that,
you,
the second question part, sir, I have also
yeah.
donated my body to the government of Karnataka.
Oh, great. So you are a very uh, noble person.
No, 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 no. I don't.
Very good, very nice.
So,
It needs courage, boss. It needs courage.
no, like, sir, I felt like when that body was lying and we were doing the dissection, and now I realized after starting this Bhagavad Gita course, something like I've been earning on that. After learning so much from the body, I'm earning
Mm.
also. The
Yeah.
knowledge, and the poor fellow whoever is there is a God for me, who have
Yes.
we have studied and we are earning from that. So
Yes.
that's the reason I felt like I just did that
Yeah.
decision.
Yeah. No, it's a very noble thought, and the more uh, marketing source to say of this thought we do, the better it is, because there is a huge list of people awaiting for organs,
Correct,
and
correct,
people have to die waiting for organs. They don't get.
correct, sir.
So it's a great thought. What you have done is a very commendable act.
Thank you, sir. Let things go
Great,
well. Thank you,
great.
sir.
Thank you.
Vijay Kumar Bhaiya ji.
जी मैम, बहुत सुंदर लगा सर का जो है विवेचन जो है। मैं सुनने के लिए मेरा वीडियो ऑन नहीं था मैम, इसलिए मैंने जो है वो हैंड रेज किया था।
ठीक है।
और बहुत अच्छा लगा, बहुत अच्छे से आपने समझाया कैसे हमें जो है मतलब कर्म करने चाहिए, और कर्म के साथ साथ जो है भगवान का स्मरण नित्य मतलब अपने उसमें लाना चाहिए प्रैक्टिस में। और जब
करेक्ट।
प्रैक्टिस मेरी रहेगी तो ये उम्मीद करते हैं कि कभी न कभी तो ध्यान आ ही जाएगा कि हाँ।
हाँ, कभी ना आइएगा।
जी
करेंगे नहीं तो कैसे आएगा इन तो समय में।
जी जी जी। और अगर नहीं नहीं अभ्यास नहीं है तो फिर नहीं आएगा।
नहीं आएगा, नहीं आएगा, क्योंकि हमको मालूम नहीं अंत कब आने वाला है।
जी कोई
मैं भी
पता
आपसे
नहीं।
बोल रहा हूँ, मेरा अंत अभी आ सकता है। गीता पढ़ते पढ़ते मेरा अंत आ सकता है। कभी भी आ
तो
सकता है
गीता
देवांत, हमको हमको पता
भगवान
नहीं
के
इसका आंसर
अनुसार
कभी
जो
आ
है,
सकता है।
भगवान के अनुसार हमें तैयारी अभी से कर देनी चाहिए, और
हाँ, करेक्ट।
तैयारी बराबर बनी रहनी चाहिए।
हाँ, एग्जैक्टली। रात को
जी
2 बजे नींद खुल जाए तो गीता का
जी
श्लोक
जी
याद आना चाहिए,
जी
ऐसी
जी
तैयारी
जी
होनी चाहिए।
जी, सांसें बेकार न जाए। जी,
हाँ, बेकार ना जाए, सही बात है।
ओके, बहुत बढ़िया डिफाइन किया आपने सर।
जय श्री कृष्ण।
युधिष्ठिर भैया जी।
Thank you, Vikas Bhaiya. It has
थैंक यू।
you have explained a new aspect of the spirituality in a very beautiful way, and I liked what the previous person said, that actually out of habit only you can remember it. So I
यस यस।
think you have reminded us at the right time. Otherwise, we will be reading Gita for some time and then we will forgetting it. So like the person who was doing it every night, if you can, you will start doing it. Definitely one day it will help us. Now my
यस
another question was that, see, we are doing something for us, our own day-to-day karma, and that is remembering God. Where
यस।
does the service to society comes in this picture? Sometimes we want to do some selfless society is help to society, service to society. So how does it come here?
Any selfless act, any selfless service to society is a very virtuous act. Is a very virtuous act. It may
Acha.
not lead you to moksha, but it will at least lead you to the heaven. So,
Okay, okay, okay. So it is also,
yeah,
if it is possible, it definitely is helpful for the person to do it. This
yes, of course.
selfless,
Yeah,
like
but it is to be nishkam. That means without expectation.
exactly
Then it
without
will be
expectation. Yeah, I think.
expectation.
I think
That
that
is
is
the
the right
key.
word.
Yes,
That is the right word
expectation.
you said.
Yes.
Niskama. Yeah, yeah.
And
Thank you,
kartrutva,
Vikas.
without kartrutva abhiman, without the sense of doership, I have done it. That I you have to remove.
Actually, this also you have reminded in the right time. Sometimes, out of ignorance, we were feeling little proud that yes, we know and we
Ah,
are better. I think you
yes.
have right pointed out. I think in the right time. Thank you very much. Anyway,
Welcome.
I am gratitude to you for giving us new ideas and all. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dishtaji.
वेंकट रामन भैया जी।
Jai Shri Krishna.
Jai Shri Krishna.
I want to just add over here that
Yeah.
I have donated my father's brains for Parkinson's research purpose at NIMHANS, Bangalore.
Oh, great.
So for onward research on
Mm.
Parkinson's, so we
Mm-hmm.
have donated his brain, as well as me and my wife have pledged our bodies for onward research purpose. So
Wow,
that's
great.
one part of it. Now, my one small
Great.
question, sir, was that if you want to attain moksha, that is
Mm.
liberation,
Yeah.
and if I keep asking God, give me liberation, will it not become selfishness that I alone are asking for liberation? In my thought, I should get janma for a koti janma, one janma after the another, another after the another, for doing service of the God to see that the last soul also gets liberated fully. Till such time, if I keep coming onto this earth again and again to serve Him, to liberate the entire souls, that would be a greater service than getting moksha for self and becoming over with it. What is your
I agree
opinion on
with
that?
you. See, your thought is very humble thought, but the risk is, do we know what kind of birth we'll get again? What kind of surroundings we'll have? Will there be any attractions around us? See, we can do good karma only when we become matured in our life. Till the time we get that maturity, spiritual maturity, we don't understand this good karma, bad karma, pap, punya, and all that. Now, in the next life, if it happens that our getting maturity gets delayed for some reasons of surroundings around us, we get birth in a family which is not surrounded by our spiritual people. And if our sadhana gets delayed or is not as strong as it was in the previous birth, we may get derailed instead of going up. That risk is there. That's why human life, if we can avoid getting rebirth, is the best option. If you cannot
That is
avoid, then you can pray
that is
for
best.
getting life.
That is best, sir. But bhaiya, but only thing is, in my opinion, personally, like Swami Vivekananda, though he is not in his physical body, but in his real terms of soul in a greater sense spread out throughout the universe in different ways, in different means, wherein he is generating that much of positive energy to make all the liberation of all the souls. As Paramahamsa told him that liberation or moksha is not only for you, and that is not the end of it for you. It is for the entire humanity for which you have to strive. Similarly, if we go on those terms or on those lines, should our souls not be there to see that even the weakest or the smallest or the other type of a soul to be enriched and given a sort of a better moksha till such time wherein we can help out?
You see, by thinking this, don't you think we are taking over the job of God in our hands? Is the God not understanding to whom he should give moksha? Why we should take this responsibility on us? That means we are treating that God is not understanding his job very well.
Not that we are not telling that God is not understanding. We are praying God to give us an opportunity to do so.
So praying God is one thing, and whether God will give you that next life to get assistance from you, leave it in his hands. God
Exactly.
needs assistance. God needs assistance. He says already in fourth adhyaya, third adhyaya also, that to run this Srishti Chakra, he needs assistance.
Exactly.
So if we can avoid, if we can provide assistance to him, then it is okay. But we cannot decide whether we should give the moksha to the last person in this earth. That we cannot
No,
decide. That is God's
that is with
prerogative.
him. And when he
Yeah.
is doing, we should be a part of his.
Huh.
We should be part of his team or his.
Yes.
What do you call his men, or you call it as his member?
Yes. See,
That is
even
what it
when
is.
even when you get moksha, God can decide whether to send back you again on the earth as his assistant, as his deputy, and get the work done. Sant Tukaram, Sant Dnyaneshwar, Sant Kabir, all these were his deputies only. They came here with a purpose. They
Exactly.
came here with a purpose and went back.
Correct.
After the purpose was served, Sant Dnyaneshwar died at the early age of 24 only. So when his purpose was served of awakening people, he went back. So God decides
Correct.
when to send the souls on the earth to get the job done, which he wants to get done. Every time he doesn't take
Exactly.
avatar. Every time he doesn't take his avatar, he sends his deputies here. So if you can act as a deputy and if he decides to take you as deputy, then leave the decision in his hand. That is
Absolutely.
what I
In his hand.
Yeah.
So the option is free for him to use wherever he wants, in whatever fashion he wants.
Yeah, right. That's right.
Correct. Yeah.
Satya,
Thank you, Vaidya.
Thank you.
Satya Didi.
Jai Sri Krishna, Vikas ji.
Jai Shri Krishna.
I have a doubt. So I'm in the spiritual journey for like last decade. So I'm reading scriptures, Ramayana, Mahabharata. I have good knowledge. So I'm doing Hare Krishna chanting. Now I start for past 5 months. I'm chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and I'm attending classes also. But yeah. But what I'm saying that remembering the God at the end of the death, it's very difficult because when the death comes or when the accident happened, we get fear, we get panic, we got anxiety. We cannot take as it is. So, for example, in my life, when I'm in the spiritual journey, so in we traveled in the car. I drove the car. When I take right turn, like something I don't know what happened. I got roll over. I go to the ditch. So at that time, I am with my family. So luckily, we didn't get hurt. But what I'm thinking at the end of the accident, like all of a sudden, I I turn into my husband eyes. In my heart, I said, we didn't take anything from this earth, like money, home, anything. At that time, it happened, but I didn't remember the God. But luckily, I didn't get any happen. How it can remember God at the end of the death?
See, that is what this adhyaya is about. If you remember God at all times, then only there is a chance that you may remember him at the end. So if you have been remembering, as you say, Hare Krishna mantra, you have been chanting for how many days, I don't know. But if you are in the habit of doing it, then the mantra should have come to your mind automatically. If it has not come, that means your sadhana is still not complete. One more thought I want to express here is that last moment when it happens, and if we are still awake at that moment, it does not happen when we are unconscious. If we are conscious and if we are realizing that the breath is stopping now, at that moment, if this thought of Gita comes to our mind, that I am not the body which is going to remain here, I am that soul which is going to leave this body, I am not the body, I am the soul, then you will remember the God definitely. So long as you get attached to the body, then the chance of you remembering the God are very slim. But the moment you realize and you remember at the last moment also that you are the soul which is departing from this body, then there is definitely a very good chance that you will remember the God. Then you will worship the God that I want to come to you. So that recognition, that understanding, that feeling has to be in our mind at all times, that I am the soul, not the body. I am the soul, not the body. I am the soul, I am not the body. If you are lying on the deathbed, somebody is lying on the deathbed, you should chant this mantra every time, every second, every moment, that I am the soul, I am not the body. If this comes to him at the last moment of his life, he will definitely remember the God, and he will say that I am the soul, I am not the body which is going to die now. So Gita teaches us to recognize us, that you are the soul, you are not this body, perishable body, you are the imperishable soul. If this knowledge, this one statement we remember at the end of our life, our job is done. But we get too much attached to the body, and we forget this basic mantra of Bhagavad Gita, that I am the soul and I am not the body. And then we keep coming to this body again. Next body, another body, third body, fourth body, because we are attached to the body.
So when I chanting, so my mind is rounding this and that, what we do next. So focus is like not, if I did three rounds, the focus like 20%. I cannot put 100%. I put 100% effort, but my mind goes. I cannot stay on the God. So.
See, meditation is an answer to this meditation. If you wake up at 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning and sit for meditation, focusing on this thought, take three thoughts. Take three thoughts for meditation. First thought, keep moving your legs, your thumb of your right leg or left leg. Keep touching it with the earth. And then say that this is my gross body. I am not this gross body. I am seeing what the gross body is doing, but I am not the gross body. Then go to the next level. The Sukshma Sharir. See, we have three bodies. One is Sukshma, gross body, Sukshma Sharir, the subtle body, and the current body, the causal body. We have to go through these three body concepts, that I am not the gross body. Next, you say the Sukshma Sharir. The Sukshma Sharir is the one which gives instructions to our gross body to use the senses and the mind. Are we that? The thoughts are coming to the Sukshma Sharir. Thoughts are going. We are only observing the thoughts. I am the witness of Sukshma Sharir. I am not the Sukshma Sharir. I am only witness of that Sukshma Sharir. The thoughts coming and thoughts going. I am only witness. So I am not the Sukshma Sharir. I am not the subtle body also. Then comes the causal body. The Karan Sharir. Karan Sharir is our holder of all samskars of past lives as well as this life. It's a depository of our samskars, which give instructions to our Sukshma Sharir, and Sukshma Sharir causes gross body to act. Now, Karan Sharir, the causal body, which is holding our samskars, it's a holder of samskars. Am I that holder? No. The samskars were performed by my gross body. I am a witness of the samskars. So I am not the Karan Sharir also. I am not the causal body also. Then who am I? I am the one who is giving power to all these three bodies, who is giving chetana to all these bodies, whether it is gross body, whether it is subtle body, or whether it is the causal body. When this thought you are doing under meditation for every day for few months, few years, then this thought will get deeply rooted in your mind that I am none of these bodies. I am neither gross body, not subtle body, not causal body. I am the soul which is governing all these three bodies. Then this thought of I am body, not intellect, I am body, I am soul, not body, I am soul, not intellect, I am soul, not mind, will get further deeply rooted in the mind. And this thought will definitely help to remember at the last moment of our life that I am the soul, I am not the body. That will lead us to liberation. Okay, any other questions, please?
Shri,
Thank you.
Shri Didi.
Jai Shri Krishna Bhaiya.
Yes,
It
sir.
was a very good explanation. I think I just have two questions.
Yes,
One is relating the shloka in chapter number 2, Sankhya Yoga.
ma'am.
That is Vansansi Jirnani Yata Vihaya.
Yeah.
And the other one is Na Jayate Miryate Va Kadachin
Kadachin
Na
ayam bhutva
Ayam
bhutavana
Bhutva
bhuvaya.
Bhavitavana Bhuya.
Yeah.
I am Nityo Purano
Hmm.
Nahanyate Anyamane Sharire.
Yes, yes.
So remembering this shloka is to tell that I am the soul. I am not the body, I am the soul.
Right.
So that is trying to take me off from that thing that I am the soul and this body is never hurt, never, the physical thing is never affected.
Yeah.
So telling this shloka and relating it to that Vansansi Jirani, that it is the changing of clothes, what is being explained to
Yes,
us,
yes, yes.
wearing the new clothes, is that the real thing which will take out the fear from our mind? And
Yes,
is it a
definitely.
path for the realization of our Brahma inside us, or Paramatma
See,
inside us?
it's only 50% of the job done. When we say that I am not the body, this is only 50% of the job that we are doing. Because if you are not a body, you are the soul, but the soul can still occupy another body. You don't want to get rid of body. You want to get rid of body for all the time. Your
Yes,
soul, you
yes,
want to get, your Atma, you want to get merged with Paramatma. That is our Adhyatmic journey. That is what we call as Adhyatma. Reuniting
yes,
our Atma with Paramatma is the journey. And the end of
yes,
journey is when our soul really gets united with Paramatma. When we become
yes.
Ekarup with him, that is the end of our spiritual journey. We want to attain that destination of our journey. So to say
Yeah,
that I am
so
Atma is okay, fine. I am not body.
yeah.
This will
So
help
to
us to get
do that, it is that nirahankara, nirmamo, sita prajna, all those things we have to get into ourselves.
into ourselves. Yeah. And to
And yeah,
yeah. Continue the question.
yeah. And the second thing I think you mentioned, 2 years before also a kind of sign or hint comes to the person.
Yes. That is why our
So
scriptures, Vedas say that a person who is really spiritually minded, who keeps thinking about God, who keeps thinking about His grace, he gets an inkling 2 years before his death that the end is going to come. There are Rishi Munis even now in Himalayas, in Haridwar, in Rishikesh, who get an inkling. They announce their shishas to their disciples that the end is coming now. So
okay.
they get an inkling of when the D-Day is coming. Ordinary person like us don't get that. That's why you have to
Oh, that
prepare
is
for it.
only for the
Because,
rishis and the
yeah,
yogis.
yes, only those
Okay.
people get some indication well in advance. It starts from period of 2 years. The next day it becomes more strong, and in the last few days it becomes very strong. They can predict that I am going to die tomorrow. They will
Okay.
tell their disciples, their shishas, that tomorrow is my last day. That kind
Yeah.
of confidence, that kind of relationship they have, communication they have established with the God. But we are far away from that stage. So that's why we should be ready for Sarveshu Kaleshu. That is the message God has given in this Adhyay. That all times we keep remembering God, we don't know when
Remember.
the time will strike. We don't know that. So Sarveshu Kaleshu is the thing which we should remember.
And somebody started telling now that you entered your spiritual journey, it is like, you're entering closer to this death. So I said that I can't say because we are
No.
trying, we got the chance to learn this spiritual journey
Yeah, yeah.
only now. So I just
See,
wanted to
learning.
know that they said you keep repeating these two shlokas that will help you to take you out that.
Yeah, yeah. To say that if we read Gita and if we talk about death, then we are nearing death is not factually correct actually. Okay. If you are maintaining good, strong health and good, strong mind, will live much longer than a person who is attached to the material life. Though we are talking of death, but we live longer than those people who are not talking of death. They avoid to talk on death. People are scared of talking on death, isn't it?
Yeah.
Nobody wants to talk about death. Though everybody is going to die one day, but they don't want to talk. We are talking
Yes.
on it. We know what death means. We know that after death, I am going to meet my Lord Krishna. So why I have to fear for death? I am going to meet my Lord. If I am
Yes.
going to meet my Lord, is it a matter of worry or is it a matter of happiness? So the fear of
Yeah.
death
Yeah.
goes off. The fear
Yes.
of death
Yes.
goes off. When you know that there is nothing bad going to happen after death, you are going to meet your Lord. You are going to become one with your Lord Krishna, whom you have been worshipping for the whole of life, chanting Gita every day and night, worshipping his thoughts. Then why should we worry? So
And
we have to
last
remove.
question, Paya. Like after death, the soul goes out of the body. First, the soul goes out of the body and the body is left. Same way, while the birth happens.
Hmm.
So that means the soul enters in and then the physical form comes. Is it right?
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
The physical form comes. See, the story goes like this. The rain falls because the body is made of Panchamahabhuta. Okay.
Yeah.
The rain falls.
Yeah.
It creates the grains. Okay.
Mm.
Grains are from the soil, earth.
Yes.
Okay. The grains are eaten by the male and female.
Yes.
It creates the anda and the virya, mean male and female. When they come
Yes.
together, the new body gets formed. So basically, it is happening from the Panchamahabhuta. The new body is getting formed.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. And when that new body is prepared, then the God decides that this body is suitable for this Atma, which has this
Okay.
track record of karmas from his past samskars, from his past lives. So everyone gets a body suitable to his karmas, his balance sheet of karmas.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
People get that family, that body which is suitable to their balance sheet of karmas. It is a well
Okay.
designed
Yeah.
practice of Prakriti.
Yeah.
Nobody interferes in that. It's a well
Yeah.
designed mainframe program of Prakriti
Yeah.
to give birth
That
when, where,
Prakriti
all that.
chakra, something comes in our Vikas. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Jai Shri.
Jai Shri Krishna.
भैया जी
हेलो
जी भैया
Yes, please.
जय श्री कृष्ण भैया जय श्री कृष्ण दीदी
Jai Shri Krishna.
हाँ Guruji, I had just this question, sloka number 7, which you told.
Yeah.
This is regarding that tasma sarvesu kalesu.
Ah.
Here it is, there are two things that God is telling, that you remind me and also you fight it out. I mean, because
Yes.
that is what the duty of Arjuna.
Yes.
And if I have to just correlate with the sloka number 37 of chapter 2, that is hatova prapsyasi swargam jitva va bhoksyase mayim.
Yeah.
Tasmat uttishto kunteyo yuddhaya krita nischaya.
Yeah.
So, so there are two things actually. I just wanted to have a small doubt. In that sloka, they are telling that you will get either the heaven or you will get the earth to your kingdom, or you will get the heaven. But here he's telling that God is telling that you will get me in both the places. So one is the present day situation. All the spiritual organizations, they are only highlighting on this bhakti yoga or that jnana yoga or raj yoga, but nobody is telling on that karma yoga, that you have to fight it out. Because I am telling, in the present day situation, there are a lot of enmity is there. People are not liking the Sanatan Dharma or Gita and all these. There are a lot of burning of Gitas and a lot of burning of temples, and all these are happening outside India and inside India. So why this particular sloka is there, and Gita is teaching that you have to fight it out? That why this particular point is not going into the crowd? I mean, the people are not getting this. Why everybody is concentrating only on bhakti or kirtan or gyan, but not on your own karma and fighting out, protecting your own dharma?
Okay. You said about the Sanatan Dharma, insults being meted out to Sanatan Dharma. Fortunately, it is not happening in India. It is happening in Bangladesh or some other places. In India, we are still respecting Sanatan Dharma. People may be talking here and there, but nobody is burning any documents. Now, going back to your Adhyay 2. In Adhyay 2, God had tried several tricks. I will use the word tricks only to convince Arjuna that you should fight and not give up. Before that, he has said, before he said, Hato Apse Swarga Jitva Bhokshasamim, he has also said, Yadruchaya Chopapannam Swargadvara Pavartam. Sugana Kshatriya Partha Labhante Yuddha Midrusham. For you, the gates of heaven are open for a person who is fighting a Dharma Yuddha. This Dharma Yuddha, Labhante Yuddha Midrusham, war like this, Mahabharata war, for you, the doors of Swarga are open. Now, this Hato Apse Swarga is a Sakam Karma. This is the result of a Sakam Karma. If you fight the war, if you fight
Your
the war
sankalp
with
is clear.
Sakam Bhavana, not
Yes.
Nishkam, Sakam Bhavana, then either you will get the heaven if you die because you are performing your Kartavya Karma. So the best award you will get is attain the heaven. If you
Heaven.
don't attain heaven and if you win the war, then Bhokshise Mahim, then you will get the kingdom of earth.
Land.
So both ways,
Earth to enjoy.
both ways it is the result of a Sakam Karma. It is a Karma Phala of a Sakam Karma. While in
Correct.
8th Adhyay, Tasmat Sarveshri Kalishu Mamnu Suridaja is a fact of Nishkam Karma. When you are remembering God, your attachment with the God only. There in 2nd Adhyay, the attachment was with the war.
Yes.
With the karma that you are doing. Here you have no attachment with the karma. You are attachment with the God. Because Mamanuswar, you are remembering God, your attachment with the God. So mind is doing, getting attached to the God, and body is doing the material world karma. Then that becomes a Nishkam karma. And for that God says, then you will attain me without doubt. So there in 2nd Adhyay, you are either getting Swarga or you are getting the Bhokshase Mahim, the kingdom of earth. But in 8th Adhyay, God is going further up. He says, you will attain me. So Gita teaches us that your sights, to see, if you keep your sight only on heaven, then it's a very short-sighted view. You can put your sights on me. You attain me. Why do you attain Swarga? So as we progress in Gita, our thinking keeps on maturing more and more.
Yes.
And ultimately we come to the conclusion that attainment of God should be the sole objective of our life. Attainment of heaven is a very short-sighted view. After all, Punya Karma is exhausted, the God will say, okay, go back now on the earth, do some new Punya Karma, then come back here. So it's a very temporary residence. Swarga is a temporary residence.
Correct.
Well, when we attain God, it's a permanent residence. God says, okay, now you live with me, I won't leave you. Always stay with me only. The choice is ours, where you want to go, there or here.
Right.
Okay, any other questions, please?
जी भैया, सेतु लक्ष्मी जी, last one. सेतु लक्ष्मी दीदी.
Om Shri Krishna.
Jai Shri Krishna.
Sir, I want your explanation again on fourth verse about Adhyagya.
Adhyajna.
Yes.
Adhyajna, God says aham. God says aham.
You told about with body you have to do Padmasan, like that you told, no? That explanation.
That is the process of attaining Adhyajna, to know Adhyajna within us.
Okay.
So the steps you have to follow is that. The steps that you have to follow to know Adhyajna in us is that steps I was mentioning.
Okay.
That you have to follow this sadhana. And how to perform the sadhana? You have to do it for meditation. Either it is in Padmasan, Sahasana, whatever asana you can do. Do pranayam, bring the prana here. We learn that technique also in this adhyay, as well as we have learned part of it in 6th adhyay in Atma Sanyam Yoga. How to prepare for meditation, how to sit, how to control mind, how to do pranayam, to bring prana here, bhru or madhya. We learn that in 6th adhyay also. So that technique you have to understand and follow in practice day in, day out to enter into adhyajna, who is in us. Entering into us means to withdraw senses from the material world and change their direction to inward. Instead of outward, change the direction inward. Then only we can see that inward God in us. So that Adhyajna is sitting inside us. He is not sitting outside in the world. He is sitting inside us. Dehe asmin, in this body he is sitting. So someone who is sitting in my body, if I don't look within my body, how can I know him? And to know him, I have to sit for meditation. I have to start looking inward. And for that, the techniques are that sit in some asana, do pranayama, do meditation, focus here, Guru Madhya, then start looking inside you. So this is the process of realizing that Adhyajna within you.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Any more questions, please?
Vaidya, can we go ahead in this session?
Yeah. If there are no questions, we stop now.
Yeah, the questions are all done. Thank you, Vaidya, for your apt solutions to all the queries.
Thank you.
A gentle reminder for joining play.learngeeta.com for everyone. Geeta Olympiad. A heartfelt gratitude to all the participants for their keen, devoted, and enthusiastic involvement in the Gita interpretation session. Your attentive presence truly enriched the spiritual atmosphere. We extend our sincere thanks to our technical star, Paushali Ghosh Didi, for seamlessly hosting the session. We also deeply appreciate the dedicated efforts of everyone working tirelessly at the back end whose support ensured the smooth and successful conduct of this session. Now, let us all turn inward and offer a divine prayer for seeking divine guidance and clarity of thought. For the prayer, I would like to invite M. Anandakumaraji from Vishakhapatnam, who's joined Gita Pariwar in September 2022 and is a trainer at all levels from L1 to L4. Please do the prarthana here.
जय श्री कृष्ण सबको। योगेशं सच्चिदानन्दं वासुदेवं व्रजप्रियं धर्मसंस्थापकं वीरं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं श्रीकृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्।
Thank you for such a lovely prayer, Vaidya. Shri Hanumanji, the eternal saver for Shri Ramji, the embodiment of devotion and strength, showers divine protection, courage, and inner serenity upon all those who remain connected for Hanuman Chalisa. So do stay logged in and receive his divine blessings and attend Hanuman Chalisa.
श्री गुरु चरण सरोज रज निज मनु मुकुरु सुधारि बरनउ रघुबर बिमल जसु जो दायकु फलचारि बुद्धिहीन तनु जानिके सुमिरौ पवन कुमार बल बुद्धि विद्या देहु मोहि हरहु कलेस विकार। जय हनुमान ज्ञान गुण सागर जय कपीसति लोक उजागर राम दूत अतुलित बल धामा अंजनी पुत्र पवन सुत नामा महावीर विक्रम बजरंगी कुमति निवार सुमति के संगी कंचन बरन बिराज सुबेसा कानन कुंडल कुंचित केसा हाथ वज्र और ध्वजा बिराजे कांधे मूंज जनेऊ साजे शंकर सुवन केसरी नंदन तेज प्रताप महाजगबंदन विद्यावान गुणी अति चातुर राम काज करिबे को आतुर प्रभु चरित्र सुनिबे को रसिया राम लखन सीता मन बसिया सूक्ष्म रूप धरि सियहि दिखावा विकट रूप धरि लंक जरावा भीम रूप धरि असुर सहारे रामचंद्र के काज सवारे लाय सजीवन लखन जियाए श्री रघुबीर हर्षि उर लाए रघुपति कीन्ही बहुत बड़ बड़ाई, तुम मम प्रिय भरत ही समभाई। सहस बदन तुम्हरो जस गावै, अस कहि श्रीपति कंठ लगावै। सनकादिक ब्रह्मादि मुनीसा, नारद सारद सहित अहिसा। जम कुबेर दिगपाल जहाते, कवि कोविद कहि सके कहाते। तुम उपकार सुग्रीवहि कीन्हा, राम मिलाय राजपद दीन्हा। तुम्हरो मंत्र विभीषण माना, लंकेश्वर भय सब जग जाना। जुग सहस्र जो जन पर भानु, लील्यो ताहि मधुर फल जानू। प्रभु मुद्रिका मेलि मुख माहि, जलधि लांघि गए अचरज नाहि। दुर्गम काज जगत के जेते, सुगम अनुग्रह तुमरे तेते। राम द्वारे तुम रखवारे, होत न आज्ञा बिनु पैसारे। सब सुख लहै तुम्हारी सरना, तुम रक्षक काहू को डरना। आपन तेज सम्हारो आपै, तीनों लोक हाकते कापै। भूत पिशाच निकट नहीं आवै, महावीर जब नाम सुनावै। नासै रोग हरै सब पीरा, जपत निरंतर हनुमत बीरा। संकट ते हनुमान छुड़ावै, मन क्रम बचन ध्यान जो लावै। सब पर राम तपस्वी राजा, तिनके काज सकल तुम साजा। और मनोरथ जो कोई लावै, सोई अमित जीवन फल पावै। चारों जुग परताप तुम्हारा है, प्रसिद्ध जगत उजियारा। साधु संत के तुम रखवारे, असुर निकंदन राम दुलारे। अष्ट सिद्धि नौ निधि के दाता, असबर दीन जानकी माता। राम रसायन तुम्हरे पासा, सदा रहो रघुपति के दासा। तुम्हरे भजन राम को पावै, जन्म जन्म के दुख बिसरावै। अंत काल रघुबर पुर जाई, जहाँ जन्म हरि भक्त कहाई। और देवता चित्तन धरई, हनुमत से सर्व सुख करई। संकट कटई मिटई सब पीरा, जो सुमिरै हनुमत बलबीरा। जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई, कृपा करहु गुरुदेव की नाई। जो सत बार पाठ कर कोई, छूटहि बंदी महासुख होई। जो यह पढ़े हनुमान चालीसा, होय सिद्धि साखी गौरीसा। तुलसीदास सदा हरि चेरा, की जय नाथ हृदय महडेरा। पवन तनय संकट हरन, मंगल मूर्ति रूप। राम लखन सीता सहित, हृदय बसहु सुरभूप। सियावर रामचंद्र की जय, पवन सुत हनुमान की जय।
Everyone, do bask in the energy that is created in today's session by our esteemed interpreter and keep that frequency maintained till until next week we meet.